Are you a fan of Star Wars? Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes? What about beer? If so, this may be the podcast for you.
Brick,
Yeah?
you're talking like that again.
Well, we are cutting an introduction for our podcast.
Do you think we should maybe crack a beer first?
I shouldn't. Do it.
Welcome, everybody, to episode 42 of Galaxy of Heroes. It feels like forever since we've last been here. We are your hosts, Darth Darkett and Brick Hardmeat. On today's episode, we catch up on our boosts, boasts, and beers. We talk about our 3v3 opinions and matchups. But most importantly, we review the Clone Wars Season 3 with our good buddy, Battlefront Line. But first, let's jump over to the cantina. On today's cantina, we have Austin Brothers Brewing Company. We're going to be starting out with our first beer from them, the IPA called 45er. I have already put mine in my newly designed Galaxy of Heroes koozie.
What is that you say?
Galaxy of Heroes koozie, baby. So I bought some iron-on transfers for the cricket machine that I brought home from school to play around with. I'm basically utilizing it for our benefit.
You're practicing.
I'm practicing so that the kids know what they're doing.
Right. You don't want to be going to school unprepared. You know.
This is lesson planning. It's marketing. It's graphic design. Mm-hmm. I made myself a Galaxy of Heroes hoodie with one of my old hoodies.
Again, practicing. It's important.
The best thing about this iron-on is it's glitter. I don't know if you can tell from the...
I can't, but I'll take your word for it.
Take my word for it. Silver glitter. So I like it. It's fancy, and we're fancy boys here at Galaxy of Heroes.
I did something to my teeth. I don't know if you have noticed.
That charcoal toothpaste.
Yeah, activated charcoal, man. It's supposed to be healthier for you, whatever, but it makes you look ridiculous too.
You're a hockey player.
No, it's my virtual background.
Johan Franzen.
BFL in the house. What's up, man? Welcome back.
Thank you.
What are you drinking?
Not much has been going on. Just some Aquafina water.
Oh, whoa! We're Dasani sponsored here.
Yeah.
Can you throw that in the garbage, please?
I'll edit that out later. It's okay. It'll just be like superimposed Dasani.
Right. Totally seamless.
All right. So the beer that we are starting with is called 45er. It is their standard IPA. 45 or 7% and 70 IBUs. Got that one there?
It's a cracker, yeah. Came prepared today. I do not have a Galaxy of Heroes koozie. I have a one that has rainbow trout on it.
Nice. I like it.
Cheers.
Cheers.
It's called 45er. It is their standard. I like it. It is an IPA. It qualifies itself as the style.
Haven't met a IPA I didn't like.
It's a little bit different than some of the other ones that we've had, I think.
Let me before you say anything, let me see if I can nail this. I'm getting malty. I'm a little malty taste.
Yeah, it's a little malty. Mm-hmm.
A little malty. Reminds me of probably Centennial hops are in there, I would assume.
I don't have the hop profile, but it could be because it's a
just
West
go
Coast.
with it.
Yeah,
so it's a Centennial.
Do you want to try to name the fruit hints? There's two major fruit hints that you should be pulling.
Fruits. Try again. Let me refresh my palate here. I don't know. I have no idea. Not grapefruit. Definitely not grapefruit.
It's definitely grapefruit.
Fake news.
And pear.
What are your sources? No,
their website.
Okay.
Have you guys tasted your own beer because you can't even? No, I definitely get grapefruit on this. Pear, maybe not. But they named it 45er because of the 45th parallel. They're fairly close to it in Alpena, Michigan.
Okay. I didn't realize they were
Yeah, they're a Michigan brewery.
When I heard Austin, I assumed Texas.
Yeah, they're not actually originally from Michigan. They came from Southern California, and they were on a cross-country road trip and discovered Alpena and loved it, and basically packed up their family and moved there. Opened up the microbrewery, and since then it's become a safe bet for quality beer and tasty pub food.
I used to go to Alpena quite a bit when I lived up north. I used to live up in the northern if Michigan is a hand, I used to live up over here.
Yeah, in the pinky.
Yep. And Alpena is on the opposite side of the state, and I had to drive there multiple times a week, which sucked.
Mm-hmm.
It was like 2.5 hours one way, or 2 hours one way.
Yeah.
But it's a very boring drive.
Yeah.
Like the most boring drive.
Yep.
The highlight of it is you go through a town called Atlanta, Michigan, and they have a giant elk mural painted on a barn. So that legend has it there is an elk population in Atlanta, Michigan. There's a herd.
Is there? Now I know some people call that area of Michigan the stink because it's if you're going off the hand, these would be the pink areas, and these would be the stink areas. And I'm also wondering if Atlanta has a dirty north hip hop scene like the dirty south in real Atlanta, but
it could. It very well could.
Not quite sure. I'm going to investigate this summer if I get to go up there.
Alpena's it's a little, it's a small town, but it's a cute downtown. Like they have some bigger businesses and things, and I can see the appeal of it. But I guess that's all I really say. What are we doing? What are we talking about? Life?
We're talking about life in the quarantine.
Oh, yeah?
That's what this podcast is about now. We're shifting gears. We're no longer Galaxy of Heroes centered. We're talking about quarantine life, how much beer we've drank.
Oh, yeah. BBB.
BBBs.
Time for some beers, some boosts.
B3.
In no particular order. Boost, boasts, and beers.
Who's boasting beers time?
Who starts?
I think we should have BFL start.
BFL, lead us off. What the hell have you been up to, man?
Grinding away, my friend. Grinding away.
Go figure.
So,
in this game, that's weird.
Yeah, it's so weird. Grinding, like who does that?
Crazy people.
So for me, past 2 weeks just been tweaking the few characters I need to unlock gas. Just make sure everyone's at the bare minimum of the power requirements. Hoarding the gear for gas and the tokens. Not much exciting otherwise for characters. I did, however, finally unlock the finalizer at 4-star.
Very nice.
And I unlocked the negotiator finally.
Nice.
Oh, shoot. Nice.
Even more exciting.
Especially because now I don't...
Oh, good.
I was just going to say, especially now because I no longer have to fight tooth and nail to stay in the top 50 of my flight arena.
What are your plans for the finalizer?
My plans for the finalizer, I hoard ship material and currency like no tomorrow. So all of my ships are level 85. Everyone's got their max abilities and everything, including the finalizer. So for him, he's just kind of going to sit there for now because now that I have the negotiator, that's going to be my primary fleet arena. And then I'm just going to use the rebels for my backup fleet and territory wars, Grand Arena and all that. So the finalizer is kind of going to sit on the back burner for now. I will gradually work on the first order pilots and stuff, but not too much heading into the future.
Yeah. I don't know where it fits in.
Yeah, same thing.
I really don't. It seems like it can shut down the negotiator, I've heard. I mean, but so can Malevolence. So
Rebel ships apparently it can take down because it can take MILF down really quick.
Yeah.
So if you are facing a MILF fleet in PvP, it's a good option because you don't have to waste your negotiator, who you probably rather use on something else later.
Mm-hmm.
Probably
Yeah.
going to be a long term, just like another tool in the toolbox, especially
Yeah.
for territory wars.
Well, if you're in Division
Yeah.
1 or 2, don't you have to put 2 fleets down, or is it?
Oh
Division-
shoot, I didn't know.
I know that's been discussed. I don't know if I don't know anybody in Division 1, but they were discussing potentially dropping 2 fleets.
Yeah, I don't know. Good question.
They
don't
they
think-
they could do it. There's enough ships to do it. It would be tight, but you can do it.
Yeah,
Well, at this point, you're talking about 7 capital ships, right?
yeah,
So
Yeah.
putting 2 down could work.
interesting.
Oh, there's 8 because we're forgetting about everyone's favorite capital ship, the Radis.
Fucking Radis. Yeah, you're right.
yeah.
There is
That's a really cool ship.
Does anybody have Ray's Millennium Falcon maxed out though?
Nah,
I don't even have it unlocked.
I actually in contraband cargo, whatever the event is, I don't do the extremely hard one. I do the one before it because I need the
shard shop.
I need the blueprints for the Ray's Millennium Falcon. So whatever.
I'm 6 short of unlocking her Falcon, and even then, I'm not going after it. Not now.
I have it 6-star, but
See, I don't even have it unlocked. Like, I've got too many other ships and fleet pilots to focus on here.
yeah.
But
You do anything else, BFL?
I got the Y-wing up to 5 stars just in time for negotiator.
Nice. It's a strong ship.
That's been a huge help.
Yeah, it's a big ship.
Mhm. I've been loving in Fleet Arena just because it's so. I mean, I've been using Thrawn ever since I unlocked him back. What, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, something like that. Thrawn's been around a while. I've never used another capital ship in Arena since.
You
then.
never did the MILF thing? I thought you did MILF.
I still ran my MILF under a Thrawn because my Rebels just weren't good enough
I see.
for
Okay.
Fleet Arena.
Gotcha.
So
Spiced in Jacobs in the chat.
But-
He has a Max Lando and Ray's MILF. Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much just me just grinding and hoarding gear. I have all the Zetas hoarded for gas, so
Nice.
I haven't geared anyone because gas needs everyone's gear. So
Yep.
I'm just kind of waiting.
Yeah, what's the deal? It was supposed to come around by our calculations on May 14th. Based on the amount of time that we estimated between events. Well, we calculated between events. It should have came around on May 14th.
It
I'm not
should have, because
complaining, to be honest. I'm glad it's 1 month later. There's a shot that I can get ready
Yeah.
now.
Right.
If it comes mid-June, I got a chance.
It's annoying though.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, I'm happy for you, but I'm also annoyed because it's like I really have been. I'll get
I'm
to it when I
annoyed
do my week. But
too.
it's like I've been like panic farming this shit because I was expecting it to happen, last week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it's been 76 days since the last event.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting on 4 complete Zetas, 3 or 4 complete stun guns, 3 or 4 complete stun cuffs. I have it all ready.
Yeah.
And just,
that's so
it's
frustrating.
tempting me to fill in all those green pluses.
I know. You see those green pluses staring at you.
It's so tempting.
Yeah, that's my downfall is hoarding gear like that for a big character. I mostly just put everything into that team, get them to the minimums,
Right.
and then
Same.
I have to plug away for months and months to get it viable. But it is what it is.
Samesies.
See, that's what I was going to do, but I finished off the droids pretty quickly, and I'm like, okay, well, now I got time.
Yeah, it's
That's
good.
smart. Yeah, you'll be locked and loaded. How about you, Darkett? How was what you BB being?
I've been doing quite a bit actually. Though I know I should be focusing on my gas requirement farm, I did open up and favorite some characters to start moving along on Galactic Legend Ray.
Oh.
So I gear 13 JTR. I gear 13 C3PO, which is just going to be a good gear 13, I think, overall. Especially with light side Geo, you need him to be kind of tankier. Can take a few more hits than you need him for the other stuff. I gear 12 Finn, and then I started shard farming the Resistance heroes, Finn and Poe.
Okay.
I have not touched Holdo or Rose yet, but they'll be after I get those 2 at 7-star. GBA, since I got him to gear 12, I've been modding hard on that one, trying to get all 6E mods. because I still, like last time on Dark Side GOTB, I still was not able to beat the Watt mission. So I want to make sure that I'm ready to go on that. And that team is just so good for many different modes. You know, they're good in territory war, defense. They're awesome in Grand Arena Championship. So everything that I'm doing there, I think, has a lot of different uses, just not raids, because they're terrible in raids.
Yeah.
Right after we had our last territory war, one of the last ones, I got enough currency to 6-star my malevolence.
Nice.
I got malevolence to pretty much all level 7 abilities except for the basic. The basic I don't use very often.
Yeah, it doesn't.
So
there's rarely time to have to use it.
Yeah, only kind of like situationally if I need to stun somebody, like maybe Ahsoka's turn meter is high and there's no taunt on Houndstooth, so I stun her so she can like just sit there and I can, you know, hit her with some buzz droids.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been like killing it in Fleet Arena. Like I can get up to first place in like 3 attempts.
Nice.
And then the guy that's after me knocks me out, and I just move back up to 2. And if I hit like 2 or 3, you don't get hit as often, so you don't fall as quick, which is kind of nice. And I also barely even use the ion cannon anymore. Like I can beat the fleets before I even need to use ion cannon, which is fucking awesome.
Yeah, that's nice.
I actually like find it like kind of defeating when I have to use it. I'm like, God damn it, I have to use the ion cannon.
I'm a failure.
I feel like it's like a last ditch nuke effort, you know, but obviously it's a super important ability and it's there for a reason. So
yeah.
With the fleet, I also finished off 7-starring Vulture Droid and Hyena Bomber.
Very nice.
So now those are getting platooned in Light Side Geo. I relic 5 Jedi Knight Revan because I'm trying to build a full auto solo hat team. Getting closer. Nice. I was into P2 with about 3% left, and they knocked out Hermit Yoda. So I think I'm pretty close. Maybe like a couple weeks I'll have that one off the ground. I probably need to gear 13 Bastila. I just really don't want to.
My Bastila is not gear 12, and I've had her for a very long time.
Yeah. Great character, and I use her a lot. Bastila lead going against General Grievous squads in Territory War or in GAC.
Oh, yeah.
It's a very strong counter there. So I guess it wouldn't be a bad thing to take her up to gear 13, but it's just not really like in the plans. I don't want to do it. I dropped the Zeta on Wat Tambor and gear 10. So he's been actually really useful in Grand Arena. We'll talk about that a little bit later.
Yeah.
Dropped a Zeta on Django for PvP.
The and leadership or the unique?
Leadership.
Nice.
Not the one where it's like cannot be revived. Whatever that one is, I think is kind of useless. I think that's the unique.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
One thing that I'd want to go on a quick rant about, it was kind of upsetting. In my Fleet Arena chat, we try to help each other out with feats. So earlier today, the guy that kind of like leads the chat, he basically designated one guy to set up as like a decoy, easy kill. After you get to first place, you can do your feats, knock him out. He's sitting at 4. So if you're in first through third, you can just like keep hitting him with the feats. And, he's not going to move. He's going to stay at 4. The person right before me, and I knew it was going to be him because he always does this shit. He gets to 8th place and then hits the guy in 4th and moves him back to 8th place. I'm like, now I can't do my feats. So we have to like reset this whole situation up where somebody like burns crystals so everybody can do their feats. It was ridiculous.
It's annoying.
Yeah. He also like, I try to like move up an hour before I really should be going to 8 because I have like this guy that snipes me sometimes. Like if I'm in like 12th or whatever and he's in like 15th or 17th, he'll just hit me for no reason, even though it's not his payout hour. He's kind of an asshole. I try to stay up in 8th because he can't reach me there. And then this guy who I was talking about who messed the feats up hits me and moves me back to 13. So I wasted an attempt on that and I had to do 2 more. So I had to use all 5 attempts today. I'm like, come on, man.
That's annoying.
I know. First world fleet problems.
First place
fleet problems.
See, in Grand Arena today, I looked at the clock and saw And so it was like 2 minutes until the end of Grand Arena, and I realized I hadn't done any attacks yet.
Whew. We'll talk about that later. Hold on.
And all right, well, hold on that.
Little tease. Brick, how are your
Little
boost
tease.
posts, beers?
Well, if you heard that purring, it's Sir Richard Bones. Hear him?
Oh yeah.
He's got the he's crackling popcorn. That's what we call it when he's purring. Anyway, there was a lot. I don't know what happened. The stars aligned.
You got a very long list of things for your boost.
It's a ton of shit. It's crazy. Like as soon as our last episode dropped 2 weeks ago, I got all kinds of things.
Bam.
So
bam.
I gear 13 Darth Revan. Why not? I mean,
you have to.
He's one of the best characters in the game, you know?
Yeah.
So I brought him up to R5, and that's probably where I'm going to leave him for now. But noticing a huge difference in survivability and damage output is crazy.
Yeah.
But he's awesome. I put gear 12 on Droideka, C-3PO, Magna Guard, and Rex, all in 2 weeks. I can't believe it.
Did you drop the Zeta on Magna Guard?
I sure didn't. And fives, I got up to gear 9, and fives is actually a cunt to gear. Oh my god, he's annoying. Like he's now at gear 9, he needs a ton of stun cuffs. I think like an absurd amount. It's like, come on, man, what?
Not cool.
Not cool at all.
But he's so worth it in the end.
Yeah, of course. You know, I need to get him at least to gear 12 and eventually 13 if I do get gas anytime soon.
I thought 3PO is like recommended to be gear 13 for gas.
I don't think he's required. I mean, it probably wouldn't hurt, but
Okay.
What say you, BFL?
That was one of the reasons why I did that too, is to make sure that I had that character covered.
My 3PO is at gear 12, and I think I only threw one gear 12 piece on him after that, just to give him the extra health.
Yeah.
And he's got just the one Zeta on him, not the one that him and R2 gained the 2 translation at the start of the battle. And,
yeah, same here. I think I only have one on him.
And he reaches the power requirement, so I'm not going to touch him anymore. I mean, because from what I've seen, I mean, I haven't studied the gas combat too much because it hasn't happened yet. But from what I can tell, 3PO is just kind of more there for the assists. So the survivability would be good, but he doesn't need to be relic to do it, as far as I can tell.
Yeah, so I'm gas ready now at this point. Other than fives, I need to work on fives. I did give fives a Zeta, the one where he gives his clone allies all of his stats if he dies.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I've been tracking it with a spreadsheet. So the road for gas started on December 20th, 2019 for me.
Man, it's crazy.
Yep. I did that spreadsheet. Remember we had the big discussion about Jedi Knight Revan or gas.
Malik or gas.
Yep. And yeah, exactly. Jedi Knight Revan, Malik or gas. Yep. And I used my spreadsheet, and my arbitrary GP figures were pretty much spot on with where I needed to take the characters. So that was a pretty good indicator, I think, of where my progress was. So in total, that took 5 months. 5 months.
It's crazy, man.
And I already had a relic Asajj, so it wasn't like I was starting from zero per se. But man, came a long way. It's crazy.
You had no droids, basically.
No droids. Nope. Like Gear 7.
Yeah.
And Gear 8 droids. So it took 5 months, 151 days, 21 weeks, 13,046,400 seconds, if you count. If everybody's
sounds like the song from Rent. 529,600.
Oh yeah, you're right.
I don't know if I have the numbers right there, but
close enough. But it has me thinking like long term. After now having gas, like, and then I don't even have gas yet. I mean, I have the requirements to get gas, and hopefully that event goes well. But as far as I'm aware, it takes really there's 4 relic characters that they're encouraged. I mean, and I guess they're not necessary, but from the videos that I've seen and the research I've done, like having a relic Asajj helps, having a relic B1 helps. Relic Kenobi is important. And then who else? I think I'm missing one. Who's the fourth? Somebody else is relic.
I think it was Padme, right?
Yeah, people say Padme's good. I have it here. Oh, Anakin. Should I add Anakin?
Oh yeah, Anakin, huge. He should be relic already.
Yeah, he's relic already. I have those four. Those four are relic. So in hindsight, like when you're looking at it and comparing it, because after I get gas, so I'm gonna hopefully unlock gas. He's gonna be low, star count. I'm gonna have to build up my get one currency to get him to 7-star. So that's gonna take some time. And then in the meantime, I'm gonna be working on clones, trying to get them relic so that I can have a relic gas, full relic gas team. So that's gonna take some time. I mean, that's gonna take. I mean, if this event took 5 months for me to relic 4 characters and gear 12 a bunch of other characters, I mean, it's gonna be months. I'm working on these clones and gas. So then when I do eventually get gas and these clones up, what the fuck am I gonna do? Like looking at my plan was originally going to be jumping into Galactic Legends and trying to get Supreme Leader Kylo Ren. But looking at it, that's 13 relic characters. I mean, that's so 4 relic characters for gas and a bunch of other gear 12s. I would need 13 relic characters to just do the event for Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, which is well over a year, right? Well, I mean, it would right? I mean, at that rate,
Yeah,
you'd think.
Yeah, at that rate, it'd be about a year, if not more.
Right.
My issue with not going that route though is eventually it's going to catch up with us in Grand Arena. We're going to face people who have them, and then we're going to be stuck. They're going to put them on the front lines, and we're going to be stuck.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but there are workarounds for at least for Kylo Ren, Supreme Leader Kylo Ren. Gas can counter him, but I think they are tweaking that because apparently it's too easy for. Or no, it was. It's an undermanned gas squad is apparently defeating Supreme Leader Kylo Ren. So it's a bug. Yeah. It wasn't intended for it to be that way. They're going to fix it. But so gas is a potential counter, is a counter. I don't know about Rey, but I don't know. I mean, I think that I'm contemplating getting Malik and going the Jedi Knight Revan route, honestly, and rounding out like completing important key squads for Grand Arena specifically.
Yeah.
Like getting Gear 12 Sith Triumvirate would be huge. Having a locked in Geo counter and just having those characters Gear 12. Nest is huge. I'd love to have a high-end Nest. I'd love to work my Imperial Troopers up, but I don't know. That's more of a selfish might be a foolish errand, a fool's errand, but I don't know. There's just a lot of stuff that I'd like to round out my roster with, and I think that could be huge in GAC. The only fear would be, like you said, I mean, if I'm going to run into people that have been working on the Galactic Legends early, but still, I mean, for around our GP level at the 3.5, 3.6 range, not a lot of people are going to be having the Galactic Legends, and even getting closer to like 4 million, after I do get gas and all the clones up, like, okay, if I am closer to 4 million, like, it is such a daunting task to get a Galactic Legend, and it inflates your GP so much that I just don't know how often that's going to happen. You know,
that's
what I
true.
mean?
It's good. You're going to be in Division 2 because the GP is going to increase. So that's true.
I don't know. I'm contemplating. I put some spreadsheets together, and it's kind of funny actually in retrospect after doing all of the gas requirements, looking at what's required for Jedi Knight Revan and Malik. It's like, that's not that bad. I mean, I have a lot of shards to farm between Mission and Zalbar. I don't even have Mission unlocked yet, and T3. T3 is like 2-star or something like that. Like, so I have a ton of Cantina shards to get, but outside of that, I mean, gearing them up isn't going to be that hard. And then
they're low gear requirements for that, so it's not too bad.
Yeah, what is it? Is it Gear 12? It's like, well, it's only 17,500 is the GP
It's gear 12 with
requirement.
like a couple of the other pieces because the Malik event predated the gear 12 finishers
Okay.
and relics.
Yeah, like the rec for the Malik event. I'm thinking just for Jedi Knight Revan, like the requirements for
Oh,
that one
Jedi
are
Knight
pretty low, right?
that one is
Yeah, you don't
super
even
low.
buy.
You
Mine
can
was
get
like
away
8.
Yeah, you can get away just gearing Bastila to gear 11. That's why I had her.
Okay.
And everyone else was like gear 7. I barely broke a sweat through the whole thing.
I
I
think
think
mine
that
were 8.
that would be achievable, and not really detract from the other grinds that I have planned anyway.
Yeah.
But so anyway, the other big thing that happened is I unlocked Malevolence. So that was awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I've been having a ton of fun playing with the Malevolence. The first day I unlocked, I was firing off text to Darth Darkett like every second.
It's fucking exciting, man. It's so nice to have a fleet that's hot that you can like do whatever you want with, you know?
Yeah, dude. I had a great day one. Like my Malevolence is 5-star. I only had I had very low abilities at the time, 1 or 2 tops.
Yeah.
And then I mean, I have a good Grievous. I have a Relic 5 Grievous, so that definitely helped. He has 6 E mods. But Vulture Droid and Hyena Bomber just 5-star, and I have good Geos. They're all gear 12 at least. But even with that low fleet, I went 10-0 on my very first day, just decimating these negotiators, and which was just luck. I don't even know how I went 10-0 because in the following days, the highest I could get, I think was 6, maybe. But I did get to number 1. I skipped that part. I went to number 1 on day 1 of unlocking Malevolence. So that was awesome. Yeah, I got 400 crystals payout. It was great.
Such a good feeling. I always wonder too, like when you first unlock, do they have some kind of like code in there to like let you beat ones you don't normally beat to make you feel like it's awesome, and then you get that feeling and you want it forever.
Because the next days, like I couldn't beat most of the Malevolence fleets in my shard, and I'm like, man, and I needed that taste. I got a taste of victory and of getting all those crystals. So I just have been focusing really hard on Malevolence, other than the gas characters that I mentioned. But just like buying ship, I'm out of ship currency, because also what I did is I unlocked the finalizer, which was, in hindsight, I regret, because like you said, BFL, mine's just going to sit on the shelf, especially since I unlocked a dark side capital ship and Malevolence in the same, I'm not going to use both. What am I going to do with the finalizer at this point? So
You use it as GP inflation for territory battles.
that's exactly what I did. So I regret. I really do regret unlocking it, but yeah, I've been having a ton of fun with Malevolence. It's just been really a joy in the game, learning that fleet, learning the intricacies of it, and now I have a 6-star Vulture Droid. Hyena Bomber still 5-star, almost 6, but even just a 6-star Malevolent or 6-star Vulture was huge.
Highly recommend putting Hyena Bomber as the priority, because the Vulture Droid will get killed, and it's not a bad thing for it to get killed. So like prioritize, if you're going to do any refreshes, do them on Hyena. Hyena is like so amazing. Like now that I have that one maxed out, once you get it maxed out, you're going to be like, this thing can last the entire battle.
Yeah.
Like there's battles that I have where it's still there at the end. You
That's
just keep charging it up, keep charging it up.
It's already it's close to 6-star already, and I have been doing the double refreshes on both of those ships. But yeah, Hyena is going to be the priority.
8 of 10 sure is nice right now.
It is.
I really wish they would keep that around.
I know. So that's been a lot of fun, learning that fleet inside and out, and I can pretty much beat any negotiator in my shard, and I actually got an invite to the ship shard finally today.
Sweet. Nice.
And I met those guys. They were all pretty cool, and we figured out I share a payout with one other guy who I booted yesterday when I got first. And
he was not happy.
No, that's why I got the invite. And I was skeptical to join the chat at first. And like, I text you because this guy just sent me a message. He was like, hey, when's your payout? And I was just kind of like, hey, fuck you. What do you want? What do you want from me?
Yeah.
Like, I was like, when's your payout? And then I'll tell you mine. And he was like, fair enough. He was just kind of like, joking around, and then
Yeah.
he's like, I'll get you an invite to the Shard if you have Discord. So I joined, and they've been cool. So we share a payout, this other dude and I. So we just figured out we're just gonna alternate rotation.
Yeah.
But it's nice because now joining the ship chat or the Shard chat, the rule is that nobody is to hit anyone who is within a 4-hour window of their payout.
That's ideal right there.
So that's huge. And it makes my life a lot easier because I was getting bounced down because I was just, they thought I'm just some rando dude, and were just beating me down mercilessly down to like the 30s. I have to work my way up. But now that I'm in the Shard, it's like, oh, I'm not going to hit that guy. Like, I get that new 4-hour immunity, which is nice. And we've been working together with fleets. Even before I joined, I was throwing in a crap fleet just to help people get the feat for GAC. So
4 hours is that's a big chunk. We do 2 hours. Like 2 hours is like, you can't really expect much more than that in ours because there's probably 25 to 30 active people. Mm-hmm. So everything's got to like line up and whatnot. Did you check the payout schedules to see if you can like move yourself so you don't share?
I can't. I'm maxed out on. You only get 2 attempts. I tried moving
per year.
Yeah, I tried moving mine forward a few months ago, and I didn't like it and just went back to my old schedule. But it's not bad. I mean, it's the difference between it's 25 crystals. Second place is 375, and first place is 400. So this is massive for me. This is like
huge. 375 crystals a day. Fuck yeah.
This is huge, dude. This is game changing. Literally game changing. Like, that is so many crystals, and I'm going to be able to grind stuff quicker, which is just, man, I'm so happy about it. And I'm still working on Malevolence to get it even stronger, because I think it's going to be a huge opportunity in GAC to get undersized wins with fleets, because it's such a dominant fleet. Even as weak as mine is, it's already really strong and hitting above its weight. So I put 6 mods on Sunfok. I was debating whether to put him up to gear 13, but I think I'm just going to leave him at 12. He's at 12 plus 5, but
you got to finish that off, man. Come on.
I don't know, man. I don't really need a Sunfok. I mean, what's it really going to do for me? Like, besides,
but you already have 5 things filled out of 6.
I know, but everything he needs is the same shit that Padme needs, which I could get much more use out of, or I don't know. There's a lot of other gear 13s that I don't know.
Okay.
Something needs balance on them spreadsheets.
Yes, exactly.
I do recommend, now that you're getting a good crystal flow, I've been doing like a lot of mod refreshes, like not refresh, but buying more mod currency, because I'm trying to really push 60 mods on some of the characters.
I've just started doing that the last couple of days. Getting the shards, buying the 6E mod material. Because that's huge for ships. And I've noticed, dude, Sunfok, now that has all 6E mods, it seems like he's going a lot quicker. And it seems like my fleet in general is very quick because I have 6E mods on Grievous as well. And it's a lot of fun. I'm really enjoying it.
And those 6E mods, like when you're thinking about like your defense and GAC, that sometimes is like what gets you a hold, because they don't look at the mods. Like some people don't look at mods. So like, you see a gear 12 team, you're like, that's fine, but it's got 60 mods on it. So you're fucking around with me. It's basically a full gear 13 team at that point.
I lost sneaky many a GAC battle because I didn't really look at the mods close enough. But and then the last thing that I did was Brick Hard Node. I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about Brick Hard Node.
That's why Jacob comes to watch the stream.
He needs to know. He needs to know what's happening in Brick Hard Node's life. So my alt account, I'm just over 1 million now. I was able to 7-star Bosk and gear 12 him, which was cool.
Nice.
So my Houndstooth is a lot tankier, and I don't drop. I'm in the top 25 in fleet in that. In Fleet Arena on that account. So
nice.
And people just tend to avoid Houndstooth if it's durable.
it's so annoying at the lower levels unless you have someone like Jedi Anakin's fighter to try and deal with the buffs. It's just there's no countering at low levels. There's just
No, it's super. Yeah, there's this like it's like hitting a brick wall. I mean, the protection just keeps racking up, and I don't even attack anybody who has a houndstooth in fleet. I'm just like, okay, it doesn't have a houndstooth. Perfect. I'm gonna attack that one.
Yeah.
It's just annoying.
Didn't we start our ults at the same time?
No.
You were a little ahead of me?
You stopped playing yours for a long time.
Oh, that's true.
You took like a month off, I think.
Yeah, but I'm only like 450,000.
I don't know, man.
I'm in the like lowest division in GAC, and I kill it in GAC because my stuff is so like, focused.
I'm in division 8.
Okay. I'm in 14. Is that whatever the lowest one is? I'm in that one.
Yeah, I've put no money into that account. I've done it totally free to play. I don't know. I know I mastered. I think getting Galactic War simable super early was a huge thing because think about that. I mean,
yeah,
you're getting that 1,400 shards of or whatever of Galactic War currency every day.
That's true.
You can turn into shards, which I've been doing. I really only have like 2 characters farmed out of that store, and the rest just goes to shards. So I don't know,
because there's not really useful characters in there. There's like a couple.
Yeah, like Zeb, which I maxed out my Phoenix early, and then I can't even think of anybody else right now. Ahsoka, I think Ahsoka's ship. Ahsoka's in there, I think. Or no, Ahsoka's ship is
sometimes.
Ahsoka's
yeah.
ship is.
Yeah.
And the Geos, their ships, I think, drop in there periodically. But
yep.
But right now, I'm going to farm. I'm farming Initiate, so that I can get a P3 cheese team together early. I think that will be fun to
nice
go with the Night Sisters and annoy everybody in my guild. So,
like
and then the last thing I did is I 7-starred Django, and Houndstooth is 7-star too. So
sweet,
nice.
Wow, that was a mouthful.
Since I didn't talk about my alt, just real quick, my only thing that I want to mention is in 2 days, I'll be able to sim Galactic War on the alt.
Nice.
Woo!
I didn't have a team that could go through it early. So like people were like, yeah, I can sim the Galactic War. I'm like, man, I've been doing this the same amount of time you have. But I didn't build a Phoenix team, so I was never beating it until I had GBA. So now that I have GBA, it's like, it's super easy to get through it. So I think I'm 48 out of 50 right now.
Nice.
So
Jacob said I should make a YouTube video about breaking down my spreadsheet.
You should.
Yeah, I could do that. It's fun. I mean, it's not super scientific, but I think it did a really good job to kind of chart progress and kind of look at the task by the numbers before jumping into it.
Yeah.
And now having the data that it took gas was my sole focus, and it took 5 months. Like nothing else really was, a few side things here and there, but nothing crazy, like that's fucking crazy. These Galactic Legends,
dude, if you don't beat it like quickly, I'm ready to hug you because I know you'll be broken inside if you can't beat that. That event. So.
I feel good about it. My man Sir Georges made a video about P4 that seems like a really good RNG limiting strategy for the event.
Yeah,
and I'm excited to try out. Which I will forward to you, BFL, unless you have other things that you're looking at. But
forward it to me. I always love a chance at learning new techniques.
I really do want to get him on the podcast. That would be cool. If I could get him on the podcast, talk about it around the time that the event's happening, that would be sweet. Or after, just giving him credit, because he is a really great theory crafter and comes up with some great ideas for these raids and these events. But I think P4 is the most difficult part, and really the strategy to it, as far as like kill order and stuff, is the same exact strategy you would use to defeat gas anyway. So it's like, already know that. That's not difficult. But yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm excited for it to come around. Hopefully we both beat BFL, you'll have to come on the show. We can compare our guesses.
I'm gonna laugh my ass off if it comes out in July and I'm ready, and I get it first.
That's so funny.
It better not come out July. I don't think I'm gonna be able to hold back that long.
Oh man, I know. I don't know how you do the.
They're asleep at the wheel right now. I feel like I mean, it's a skeleton crew of developers. The only one that's doing any work around there is CG Spaniard. He's hogging the one computer they have,
and he's killing it.
Look, I will say he's killing it. The art is great.
Yeah. Fuck yeah!
Look at Cara Dune. Come on.
I know, and everybody has been looking great.
Everybody looks great. Mando, Grief.
Great. Can he go back and fix the old ones that are bad?
Right.
Yeah,
it's weird. It's a weird time. These Galactic Legends, the more I think about them, I'm just like, God damn, man, the hoops they make us jump through. And the more I hear people talk about, they've unlocked the character and now they're just grinding these shards endlessly. Just these event shards, these event tokens are just, they're just crippling. That you can't farm anything else. You have to use all of your energy, all of your refreshes on low level dark side or light side nodes, and it sounds just soul sucking. I don't know, man. I'm more and more. I think that it's a. I mean, what are they going to do from here? It's a shitty path. It's like, oh yeah.
Well, there's no way to hoard those things early too. Like you and I, and all of us, we can't hoard that stuff now, can we?
No.
Not
until you unlock the event.
Until you get the requirements, yeah, you can. It's ridiculous. I'm considering, like, at this point, maybe even when's the next batch of Galactic Legends coming around? I may just skip this one. I don't know.
Yeah.
See, that's my thinking, because if you look, Resistance, half their characters honestly aren't that useful in the game.
Yeah.
Even at relic level, they may trip someone up if they don't know what they're doing in Territory War or Grand Arena, but that's it. And then the First Order, kind of the same story. I mean, you will use them, especially because now that we have Hux, you can make 2 reliable First Order teams. So that kind of seems like the better choice in the long run.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, I don't see myself going after Galactic Legends right now, especially because the developers have said they're going to be adding new relic levels sometime before the end of the year, probably, which will include the new rumored relic abilities they teased us originally.
Yeah, that's true. They haven't even.
So once that gets unleashed, I'm sure the current Galactic Legends will get easier. And then they'll release the new ones, which are going to be equally as challenging. But I'm hoping I'm a little closer to that than I am with the First Order of Resistance, because right now it's not worth it to me. It's just not.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen a fully relic JTR with Resistance Hero team in Arena at all?
Mm-mm.
They're no joke.
Yeah, they're tough.
Yeah. I got a couple that like pop up in like the 125 to 75 area, and like I take my fully relic 35 Padme against them, and I've lost a couple times. They're not easy. So those Resistance heroes, like you're talking about the Resistance teams not being like super great, but those 2, Finn and Poe, are like legit.
Yeah.
I like the First Order teams too, like that new Sith trooper, the Red Trooper, supposed to just
he's great.
blow shit up. Yeah.
Yep.
Which sounds fun.
Yep.
But it's like, really though, when you think about a Galactic Legend, like, it would be great to have, of course. I mean, that goes without saying.
Yeah.
But what's it gonna do for you, really? I mean, like having Supreme Leader Kylo Ren is okay. You have a character that can potentially solo the Sith raid. That's cool, I guess. I don't know. Not that jazzed about that. But you have a character that is obviously a very good counter against, another of Galactic Legend Rey and just about anything else, it sounds like. And it's fun to play. I mean, it's a cool character. But if the purpose of that character is to get high into the arena, rankings, it just seems to me by the time you get that character maxed out, there's going to be something new, or there's going to be a known counter. And fleet or squad arena just seems kind of fleeting to me to be the end goal. It's like, seems kind of arbitrary. And then Rey is supposedly a more, a tougher defensive PvP team. People sounds like people are pretty much avoiding them if they're high up in squad arena. But I don't know. I feel like it's like it's an end game players destination opposed to like players like us who are.
It's almost an entirely
Yeah.
different game. Like
Yeah.
like I watch like sometimes in like our recruiting server, you know, us talking to people for our main guild and they're discussing their Galactic Legends stuff. And I'm like, none of this makes any sense to me. And it's not like just because it's not a squad that I have, like there's abilities that don't make sense. Like the stuff they talk about, I have no idea how to make sense of some of it. It's crazy.
There's a lot to it. And I mean, think about it. These players, like most of the podcasts I listen to are end game players, you know, and the content that I watch, you know, like, Operation Metaverse, the Gambit podcast, the Holotable News Network. Those are all like end game players. And that the Galactic Legends are the thing that it's been their sole focus once they were announced and they knew the requirements. And these people are, you know, top 10 in both squad arenas, you know, for the most part, squad and fleet arenas, you know, so they're getting a ton of crystals and this has been their sole focus. And it took this long. Some of them didn't even get to unlock it on the first go around. So it's like, man, I can't put up that type of productivity that those people did at where I'm at. And
Get that.
I don't know what they were thinking with making this stuff so difficult. And then again, reneging on the, you know, not every character is going to need relics. And it's like, oh, no, all characters need relics.
Yep.
It's just, I don't know. Where do you go from here? What are you going to do? I mean, they've already said that they're worried about Luke breaking the game.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I can understand why Capital Games made this as challenging as they did, because the way the game is built, we can build up our rosters faster than they can put out new content.
Yeah.
So they're constantly in a rush against the player base because they need to keep us entertained so that we're spending money on the game so they can keep the lights on in the office. So they have to come up with new ways to throw a brick wall in front of us to buy them time to get the next wall up. It's just, they're constantly racing against us.
Yeah.
Which unfortunately forces them to make really difficult content like this. But again, they have to build a wall that's higher than this wall. So a year from now, we're going to look back and be like, Galactic Legends Ray and Kylo, that was easy.
Right. Yeah, that's the fear. So, for a free-to-play player or, you know, semi-free-to-play, free-to-play character or player, Jesus Christ. Had one beer and could barely talk. For it to take a year to unlock one character is just it's crazy. It's just, I mean, you're gonna start losing people if that's what, you know, the name of the game is. You know, if you want to be up on the latest meta, it's at least widening that divide where, you know, less and less people are gonna have these characters or go after them, and you know, they're just going to play in their own little sandbox. Like, oh yeah, I've got Malik. I've got this shitty character Malik. So what's your Malik like? What's your Padme like? And then, you know, it's not even, they're going to be playing in two different universes essentially, or, you know, you have to either,
like that already.
It does. Yeah. It's like, I mean, I still enjoy that being said, I still enjoy where I'm at. If I could still play GAC with, you know, no Galactic Legends in it, I would still have fun and still have a great time. So
it does feel like there's a lot of burnout. The burnout level is very high at the top. I don't know if there's as much like because we just kind of plug away and do our own thing, you know?
Yeah. And we're the biggest
division 3 people. So like
we're in the biggest and liveliest division, it sounds like.
I do hear quite a bit of discontent up there at the top in the Division 1 and Division 2 people. So
yeah.
Well, that's because they have nothing else to do. This is the only thing they can do. And it's just not fun when that's the only thing you can do is just grind your life away.
Well, especially if you're like a Dolphin or almost free-to-play Division 2 player where, you know, you've been playing since day one. You put up a little money here and there, and you're still like trying to chase these Galactic Legends, you know, that's like, it sucks. you're trying to keep up because your opponents have them now. And I mean, we have several of those players in our guild that it just I feel for them.
Yeah, it's tough out there for a Division 2 pimp.
Yep.
But I guess that's it for boasts, and beers.
I have one more quick thing.
Oh yeah,
I forgot to put it on my my plans earlier. So we are doing Lightside Geo right now, and one of our both of our territory battle gurus suggested that we start building up our ship GP to see if we could potentially get another star. So they put a kind of like goal out there for us to all increase our ship GP by around 20 to 25,000. And when I first saw that, I'm like, you guys are fucking crazy. There's no way we're going to be able to increase by 25,000. Like, my ship currency is limited. I'm trying to like finish off my malevolence abilities, and I'm not diverting it to some ship activation that's not going to help me. And then I realized that mods increase your ship GP tremendously. And I had so many pilots of ships that I don't use that I just threw like all my leftover mods on, and it got me to like 19,000 in like 5 or 6 characters. So if that's something that you guys are doing, light side Geo, even dark side Geo, and you need to increase your ship GP, mods on the pilots of ships that you don't normally use is huge. You're going to burn some currency trying to like level the mods up from like 1 to 15 or whatever. And you might not want to slice them. Just throw anything that you have on there, especially a bunch of purples, a bunch of golds that you have sitting around. Don't delete them. Don't sell them. Keep them around for that purpose, and you can really get your guild ship GP up. We're looking at like another star just because of that work that we did for about 2 weeks. So
yeah, I mean they don't even have to be complete sets. Complete sets don't grant extra GP. So if you got 1 speed, 1 health, 1 potency,
random
throw it all
crap
on there.
Random crap. So
interesting.
Yep.
I'll be completely honest. I didn't see that message, and I didn't do anything to assist.
Well, see, this is why us overachievers that went like, I know me, I raised mine by over 80,000. I know.
Damn.
Well, what was it? Dark raised his by 100,000.
Yeah, there was a bunch of people that were raising them by like a ton, so it made up for people who like either didn't see it or didn't want to do it.
Yeah, so we got you covered.
The thing with mods too is that like you can pull them off later. So like just make a bunch of loadouts for those pilots so that you don't increase your full GP. Our whole guild GP went up like what, 1.5 million in like a week and a half, just because of like all the stuff we were doing with our ships. So I can see us coming down after that. But
that's the problem with Discord sometimes. It's like there's so many notifications. It just gets watered down. It's like, what is this? Is this Echo Base, or is this actually a important message I should see? And then I belong to 8 different Discord servers at least.
Only 8?
Something. Yeah, right. That's probably light. Anyway, all right. So you guys probably want some meat, right? And another drink.
Let's do one more beer and then we'll do meat, because I've had this one out here. It's been actually sweating. It's like getting my desk all wet here. So
all right, let me go grab mine.
Get our second one. I'll talk about it when you're gone. Okay. All right. So the next one from Austin Brothers is, hold on, let me put it in front of me. It's called Mr. Plumpricot. It is a fruited kettle sour beer brewed with lactose sugar and a large amount of plum and apricot puree, giving a tart, bold fruit character. This one is 4.5% and 10 IBUs. This one's fun because it comes in a pint glass or a pint can, so you get more for your money. And now that I'm reading the can gives me a different ABV than Untapped did. This it's 5.5% on the can, so I don't know which one to believe. Let's call it somewhere in the middle, 5%. I had one of these earlier in the week because when I brought them home, I was like, well, I got to taste that. So I did a preview taste of this guy. If you are interested in visiting Austin Brothers, they are at 821 West Miller Street in Alpena, Michigan. And they're one of the ones that are staying open during the lockdown and doing carry-out, doing keg fills, growler fills. So hit them up. I'm going to crack mine open and give my rating while Brick is awake. So I don't know how long it's going to take. There he is. I like how your virtual background went away and then came back when you sat down. That was pretty amazing.
I do know how that happened. I control it innately.
Oh, okay.
I'm clairvoyant. So cheers.
I cracked mine. Yep, cheers. This one's got a great aroma, very sour.
Sorbet.
Yeah, it's from their Sour Bay series.
I like it.
I like that one. We didn't rate the last one. Let's rate that IPA real quick. I would
I'll
probably
go
give it
4.5. Well,
Yeah,
4-star.
Yeah, I think I'll probably go like 4-star.
I don't think I'd go out of my way to buy it.
Yeah, it's one of those ones. It's like it's got a unique IPA flavor, but it's not one of the top ones. I do enjoy this one though as a sour, and
yeah, that's tasty.
It's a nice summer one because it's in cans. You can take it to the beach.
Good change of pace
when your beaches are open. I did let my wife try it, and she said it tasted like her bile when she throws up. So these ones are all for me. I don't agree. I'm like, this is some pretty tasty bile.
I'm going 1 star now. After you said that, no. I like it.
I like sours, so
yeah, I like it. It kind of reminds me of what was that really fruity beer we had last time? Similar-ish. I don't know.
Yes.
Tart.
Blueberry lemonade goes.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, not the identical, but like.
Yeah, I like that one a little better. And you notice I did order these differently so we could actually taste the IPA this time. Because last time we did the sour, and IPA, and we couldn't taste the IPA because it like killed our palate. But I think I like the Witch's Hat a little better, but these are definitely good.
Nice. All right, let's get into some meat.
Meat time.
And over to the hog.
All right, so we got 2 big things in the meat today.
Oh, sorry.
I like it. Keep it going. We're talking about our GAC and our love for 3 vs 3. It's like the best game mode CG could have ever given us. I'm so glad we have it.
I'm
waiting for a 1v1 GAC, and I'm like, damn it.
Now 3v3, I'm just gonna get it out there. I don't love this game mode. Surprise, surprise. But I'm choosing to try and see the good in it and trying to look at it positively because we're gonna be doing this for a month.
Yeah.
And if I went through this whole thing hating it, I don't know what that would do to my mental state or if I would continue to play this game. But no, I'm trying. The way I look at it is I always learn something when I do 3v3. Like in the previous GACs, I always learn something about my squads. And that's what I'm trying to do this time around and trying to do research specifically about what mechanics make which squads work and not work. So I find that interesting. It is interesting. Like it's a different, there's a different, I guess strategy for it than your typical 5v5 GAC. So, I don't know. I'm trying to look on the positive of it. What about you guys?
I would say kind of the same. Although I would say it's my absolute least favorite game mode of all. Because like GAC is not my favorite in general. And then putting it into 3v3, it's like, okay.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot I can do, but I am trying to treat it like you are. I'm trying to learn as I go. And I did actually like set up my first week of battles to like learn where these things best fit. And I was moving defenses around a little bit to like see what I could do. I think I got it kind of figured out now.
Round one's kind of like a feeling out process, I'd say.
Right.
It's just kind of you're kind of putting your foot in the water, like, yeah, I've heard this might be good.
Yep. But overall, I'm not a big fan. BFL, how do you feel about 3v3?
In the past, I've enjoyed 3v3 simply because my roster back when 3v3 GACs were introduced, and especially in the last one, my roster was more dispersed. It wasn't as focused. I had a lot of decent teams, not like some solid good counters. So I actually enjoyed the 3v3s a lot because it gave me a chance to use those characters and create fun new squads that normally you wouldn't see. With that being said, this GAC I'm not really loving as much. And that's more because as I sit here and I realized, all these teams that like I focused on, I can only use half the characters.
Yep.
And then there's just a couple teams that I don't know if I'm not modding them right. I don't know if it's just I'm getting unlucky but like Jedi Knight Revens with Jolie and Grandmaster Yoda, I just can't seem to beat them. I don't know why. And then I don't know if it's just because this is a 3v3 or if I got unlucky or something, but 2 out of 3 of my opponents were auto placement. So I won them both because they never bothered attacking, but it was hard to get anything done because one of them had like Revan, Malik, and I think CLS on one team. And it's just like, I can't do anything about that.
Yeah,
how do you even play that? Yeah.
So, I mean, now I'm not enjoying it as much, but I do still enjoy it because it gives you a chance to break out some character combinations that normally you just wouldn't use. And it's just like you said earlier, Brick, you always learn something new, and I enjoy it.
Yeah.
One thing that I'm trying to look at right now too is like, if I leave one character behind, what's a good cleanup squad? Because that kind of thing is going to be useful in like territory wars. You know, I leave a nest behind, and how do I clean it up? I leave Malik behind. How do I clean it up without like killing another 3-person team? You know. So that is something that I'm trying to look at too, is because my opponents put some pretty good defense out there. So I don't always beat him on the first try. But yeah, I think I'm trying to figure out ways to like use what I have and be economical with it. You obviously make some mistakes, but.
What were your guys' records in this one?
I was 1-2.
Same. Yeah, 1 and 2.
I had 2 wins, 1 loss.
Okay.
Nice. Yeah, my round 1, like each round had sort of unique. They were unique. Like there really wasn't many themes in any of them. The first one I won easily. My opponent just didn't have a really developed roster for GAC overall. Like they didn't have either Revan. They did have a really strong relic Sith Triumvirate, which was. That gave me the most difficulty, but I think I took it out in 2 attempts. And then I was just a real bastard and put Darth Revan on defense with GBA and Bastila, which I knew he couldn't do anything to that. Yeah. So it kind of felt like a douche because I just knew it was like, it was like a chess match. It's like, okay, checkmate. What are you going to do with that? And he put his best characters on defense or his best, some of his best squads, but yeah. So that was an easy win.
What was the score of that one?
The full clear. You know what? I did save it. It was. No, that's not it. Fuck. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that one was 1834 to 1122. Oh, it wasn't a full clear. I didn't. I burned some more. That's right. I burned a few squads on the Sith Triumvirate, and then. That's the tough thing with this game mode too, is that when you do fail, it really you feel it hard. It's not like, and I'm saving most of my best characters on offense, and even so, it's like, oof, okay, that's one of my best teams failed. Now I have to use my second best team. Oof, that failed. Now my third,
That's it, man. That's why 3v3 sucks. Is it's like you can really underestimate and like screw yourself completely for the entire thing,
And it's way more RNG dependent too. Yep. You have more room for error, I think, in 5v5.
You have to look at mods too. Like you have to look at every single character's primaries.
Yeah.
So you don't underestimate him. I do that and I still have trouble. So
yeah.
Do you want to rotate rounds so we all take a turn and then we'll just
sure.
round? All right, BFL, how was your round 1?
My round one was an auto placement.
Hmm.
So not too much happened there. I managed to I think that was the one I managed to get a full clear. Just yeah, I did. Just barely. Because I got really lucky when I used what was it? I used Nest to clean up a team that normally I would never put her against, but Nest owned it.
Nice.
So I managed to get a full clear on them, thankfully. Wasn't too bad, but I was because when people auto place, they usually never attack because their entire roster's on defense.
Yeah, they're screwed.
So it's like as long as you can win one, you're usually fine.
Right.
So for this GAC, I'm trying more of to focus on the feats just for the fun of it because I know there's just gonna be teams I'm just gonna get blocked by, and there's just gonna be no point.
It just sucks for banners though. If you're trying to get into Kyber, like you face a couple of those auto places, and if you can only beat like one or two or like one territory, then you're really screwing yourself. So
yeah. How about you, Darket?
My round one wasn't too bad. I lost, but this guy came out hitting hard like from the very beginning. I was kind of watching him live because as soon as it launched, I like just checked to see, like what kind of defense. I'm like, oh, he's already attacking me. Cool. He actually tripped up on my first order team, which sucks. My first order team is pretty awful. I think crew is like gear 8. I have a gear 12 executioner, and then I think I threw officer in there too, and it took him 2 attempts to beat that squad. So that was kind of a nice win because
I may throw them on defense, man.
Yeah, they're good on defense.
Especially in 3v3. I'd not for 5v5, but 3v3 might be a good move.
Throw Watt in there, man, and you can tank like a motherfucker. So I recommend it. I threw Watt in that team later, but I didn't really get to see it work out.
I wonder how Watt. Well, that was with the computer. As far as passing out the appropriate text and which weapons tech in which order. Because he has like 5 abilities.
Yeah.
I wonder.
I think tank
how intuitive it is.
I don't know.
I wonder if I just wonder, or move priority, like if it's just stupid and like turn 1 puts protection up on the team, or I don't know.
It doesn't seem that way because I didn't mess around with it a little bit for the one, because as soon as we unlocked Watt originally, I went on a massive theory crafting spree. I don't know if you guys saw some of the team comps I was posting.
Mm-mm.
Okay, well, they were kind of weird because I had like Watt with Wampa and Mace, and it was weird. But as far as I could tell, the computer's actually fairly intuitive. Like as far as I can tell, it'll find like the tankiest or highest protection character, put that one on. The attack one, that one did seem a little kind of iffy. Yeah, I think that one kind of prioritizes offense. I think.
Okay.
I think the first move will be to like throw the tank on. I'm not sure because you can't really watch it, but I think that's how it generally works.
Well, I started the battles in like the dark side territory, or not territory, the dark side farm battles and stuff, and I hit auto as soon as the thing started. Every time it did put the tank one down first.
Yeah, I should screw around with it in Galactic
War, yeah. Because I tested them both there because, I mean, you never know. You might find something that really doesn't work or something that does work, but it seems fairly intuitive.
That's good.
So,
some other stuff on that first round, I got a hold also with my Wigs team. So I use
nice
Biggs, Wedge, and I think Akbar together. And he messed up and failed one on that. And then, so he cleared my bottom out completely. And then he started going at my top. And that's where I was trying out a team that somebody threw up that was like the most annoying 3v3 GAC team ever. It's Newt Gunray, C3PO, and Watt. And I was like, there's no way this is going to do anything because there's only one that can like actually attack. It took him 5 attempts to clear it. And I was like, maybe this is a viable team. But I tried it later on in my second match, my third match. And second match, he blasted it away really quickly. But it was kind of funny to see 5 attempts on that team. So
in chat, Rogue 613 said that Watt always throws tank tech on tank.
Yeah. Okay.
And Watt with STH when taunting gives turn meter to team when hit.
Okay.
So that's good
Cool.
to know. Thanks for the info. Appreciate it. And thanks for joining us. Yeah, that is one of the interesting things about 3v3 is like it seems to be very centered around which teams are strong on defense, and that can be deceptive or misleading because it really depends on the levels, the gear levels of the characters you have, how they're modded compared to what your opponent is attacking it with, and then you compare that to from player to player, so you may see something on a Discord server like, oh yeah, this comp is great. This is a great defensive. I got 5 holds on this one. The other factor is that you don't know what type of team your opponent is using to try and counter it. And if they're anything like me, which I'll talk about in our subsequent rounds, I used a lot of shit that I underestimated the team or just used the wrong team comp altogether. So I may be giving them an artificial sense of like, oh, this team's great on defense. But it's like, no, I was just an idiot and I used the total wrong team comp and undergeared stuff to try and take them out. So it's tough to truly pull away any, definitive data at this point. But, we have a whole month left. So I'm sure some good stuff will come out of it and, start getting some more universally good teams. And if anybody in chat, who's watching, had some success with their team comps, shout them out. We'll talk about them on air. Okay, round 2. So round 2, I lost this one. We both cleared each other, which was cool. I was glad I at least got a full clear. And going into it, they had some tough stuff. They had a Malik, and they had pretty high geared Nest. I think maybe gear 12 or not gear 13, but definitely up there. And they were just more efficient than I was. And I beat everything, I think, on my first attempt. So everything went pretty well, like I didn't stall on anything, or if I did stall on something, it was minor, but they were just more efficient. And I actually made a habit of trying to talk to everybody that I played in GAC this time around. I don't normally message anybody, but this time I was just like, good game, and, chatted with everybody, and everybody was really cool. So I complimented my opponent, on the underman wins with Malik and Nest. That's just huge. I mean, if you can get those, really are like GAC characters, Malik and Nest. The two of them are just they're money.
Yeah.
So that was really the difference. I didn't have anything to underman stuff, and it's something I need to look at. So I've added Nest back to the farming list, but so yeah, I lost that one. But honestly, I didn't feel too bad about it. I had a tough opponent who had some good stuff, some high, had a high octane offense, and I still got a full clear. So I got some good banners and good points for hopefully getting Kyber this season. But how about you, BFL?
Like you, I lost my second round. This was the one person that actually set their proper defenses and everything.
So really, you were 0-1.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding.
I looked at his roster ahead of time. He had Malik with, he had the Jedi Knight Revan, obviously. That was, I think, Relic 2 with a Relic 2 Grandmaster Yoda or something like that. And so he had a decent roster, so I was really concerned going in. But I looked at his past GA history, and he didn't really put them on defense usually. I mean, in the past 5v5s, I know there was a weird way you could visit the previous 3v3s, but I didn't bother doing that just because rosters have changed so much since then. So I kind of went in with worst case scenario. Luckily, he didn't put the Malik down, but he put down his Jedi Knight Revan with Grandmaster Yoda and Jolie, which I have the hardest time beating for some reason. I don't know why.
How are your Geos?
My Geos are they're gear 10 to 9, depending on who. So they're not great, but everyone's got their full abilities and everything. So I just need to focus on gearing, which will be soon. But then he put his bugs on defense, which were all Relic 4. So he had the GBA Relic 4, he had Sunfac Relic 4, he had Spy Relic 4.
Woo. That's a recipe for disaster right there.
Maybe I
It
should
was.
relic my Sunflower.
In 3v3, I'm telling you, those bugs in 3v3, they will destroy your entire matchup.
It really does. And so he put, and looking at his roster, he had really weak fleet. So I was really confident that if I could get to his fleet, I could knock it out. Problem was he put his Jedi Knight Revan and a couple of other decent teams up top.
He knew.
Relied on the bugs to hold the bottom. Bugs tripped me up 3 times.
Oof.
I went in with a Treya team with the Treya trio originally, almost knocked him out, but Spy got a massive hit on Treya.
Oof.
And a massive hit on Scion like 2 turns in. So all I had left was Scion. I'm just like, well, this isn't going to go anywhere.
Nope.
And then I somehow managed to clean him up. I don't know how, but after 3 attempts, I cleared the bomb territory. Then I cleared the back bottom because he kind of had that one filled with decent teams, but they weren't too bad. And then Revan blocked me. I couldn't get past it. And so he did a full clear on me. I think he only goofed up once, and I think that was on my clone team. I left on defense. So he deserved the win. I can't complain too much about that.
Yeah. Real quick, in chat, Jacob from Spiced Den podcast said he got 5 holds with Bastila, Old Ben, and Luminara, which is kind of weird. That is kind of weird.
Oh, I run Bastila, Ezra, and Old Ben.
Same. Yep, that's what I do too. It's got a few holds in this one. Nice. Rogue has commented, said that they run Dooku, Mother Talzin, Zombie with a Dooku lead. If the enemy drops below 100% health, they get tenacity down and healing immunity. Mother Talzin's plague drops players below 100% health, and enemy can't heal. I may try that, man. That sounds sneaky.
I might have to try that. My tray is fairly weak, so if I can just nag away like that might be a good idea.
Newt, Brood Alpha, and Grievous also did well.
It splits 2 teams though. That's what scares me there.
Yeah. Interesting. I'm wondering how that mechanic. I don't know. Some of this 3v3 stuff is like, okay, what unique plays into what leadership? How does this benefit the Separatists? I feel like have so much flexibility in this game mode. It's crazy.
Oh, they do.
And I'm not just parroting the Gambit guys. I was thinking about that beforehand. Like, there's so many different combinations you can use. Like, it's crazy. Like, I was using it was on my Brick Hard Note account, which I went 3-0 in GAC, which this time around, which was fun.
Me too.
Nice. Our alts are good. Our
Alts
mains suck.
Killing it.
But I used a Poggle lead with Django and Sunfok. And the nice thing about that team was that because there's a Separatist leader in the slot, Django gets his payout immediately. And then Poggle grants extra turns to Django like crazy, and his basic hits like a fucking truck.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just insane. And then, Sunfok has obviously a lot of great stuff. Can tank, the taunt, the dispel on basic, which is huge. And that one did pretty well on offense. I used it on offense and defense. But that's not even the best utilization of the Separatists by any means. But just
did you try just GBA and Spy?
I didn't. I did do it on offense this time around. Yeah. Oh yeah, that was sweet. It was a
great team for offense because you get the Underman.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
It was huge.
Sometimes I feel like I'm even like overkilling it. Like I'm with Division 14 and whatever the lowest one is, and I'll take those 2 in against a 50,000 GP team, 40,000, and I'm like, they didn't even touch me. I probably could have done just GBA.
Yeah. Right. How was your round 2?
Round two was not great. It was actually almost identical to BFL's. I also got trapped by Relic Bugs and Jedi Knight Revan.
Ugh.
Because Relic Bugs, I first went in with Grievous, and I took out one of them, but not all. I didn't take GBA out. And then the next time I went in with my Revan and lost and didn't take out anybody. And then I had to take Padme in. I was like, I'm taking fucking Padme,
Man,
Jedi Knight Anakin, and Ahsoka in to beat Bugs.
I know.
So
man,
at that
that's
point, I
rough.
was basically screwed. Like I had nothing left. I then focused on the top, and I took out the top with the fleets, but I still ended up losing 1542 to 1780. So fucking Bugs in 3v3, it's not fun.
Yeah, I put them on defense in round 3, and my opponent didn't even try to attack them because. So my opponent, looking at their roster, I got a little cocky. I was like, they don't really have. I'm not scared. I really didn't scout them. I didn't look at their history much. I don't know why. I just didn't. Alcohol might have been involved. Who knows? But I put my defense out there, and they had a relic rebel squad. They had a CLS, Chewie, and Han, all at relic 4 or 5, I think.
On defense?
Yeah.
You don't see that very often.
No, and they put them in front of the fleet, and I knew I had a definitive fleet advantage, and I'm like, okay, I gotta get the fleets. So I just could not get I just wasted so many squads on them. So I went in initially with my Night Sisters. My DACA has like close to 120,000 health at the time, and they just fucking smoked. It was Talzin, DACA, and Talia. Yeah, so I went with that 3, which probably wasn't the best, but they just nuked my ass. Then I tried to go in with Grievous, which probably was ill-advised, and they got nuked. And then I tried just for giggles, I guess. I was like, I'll try my crew. So I threw crew in there with Watt. Watt got one-shotted by Han, and they just got decimated. So then I went in with, who did I go in with now? Oh yeah, I went in with Darth Revan.
Oof.
And my Darth Revan is Relic 5, but the supporting cast is weak. And I got Chewie down to like a sliver of health, but I died. And then I had to take Padme in with GK and yeah, dude, that's
4 attempts.
5 attempts.
5 attempts.
Well, five to get to clear them. I did finally take them out with Padme. But I had just burnt. Think about those squads that I just named off. Those squads can take on just about anything this guy had on his defense outside of what I named.
One of the hardest things with 3v3 too is it goes so quick. You almost can't avoid like preloading turn meter because you have to get that last chance in, and then if they counter, you can't close out quick enough, and then it's like, okay, now I'm TM loaded and then I'm fucked.
Yeah, it was just brutal, man. And that rebel squad, just that automatic and shooting first thing, that Han was just wrecking my face. So it just depleted me way too much. I mean, you can't expect to take 5 attempts on any character, I think, at this level of GAC and expect good things to happen, So I just struggled through it. I mean, I did break through his front territory on the bottom. And I got almost through his entire bottom territory, but I just had nothing left at that point. And then I couldn't break through to ships. He had a decent bounty hunter team, but again, I was just too depleted to get through, and I lost. But they were cool. I talked to them in the chat, and they were pretty cool. But
do you have the Zeta on Watt?
I don't. I
don't think it would help you on that because they already had turn meter preloaded, probably.
Yeah, they did.
But it does help you avoid getting Watt knocked out,
I think I'm going to put him on defense, or them on defense, because I have a Relic 5 crew with Watt and Executioner. I think it could really trip some people up.
I think you should try it.
Yeah, because the way that I've heard other people use crew on offense is as a Night Sister counter, but I do have some other Night Sister counters because when the weapons tech is on Executioner, there's no revive. It's just you're dead for good. There's no revive if he kills somebody. So
I put it on the bottom too. So because you've got a pretty good fleet defense right now.
Yeah, I have a home one. I'll probably put MILF on there. Yeah.
So yeah,
Strong
I
houndstooth.
would protect the back because there's 4 squads back there. I would put him on the bottom.
Yeah.
Front.
Yeah, Rogue recommended airplane mode. It is smart. Those fights end so quickly though. Sometimes too. Sometimes you can't even. I don't know. Sometimes like with Chewie, I got Chewie down super low, and it was like, he's almost dead. I kind of didn't want to bring him back to full protection and health by exiting out, but I guess I don't know. Something to consider. Anyway, BFL, how was your final round?
My final round, I had another auto placer. But when I looked, I decided, let's just wait till tomorrow because it looked like he still had at least 1 or 2 offensive teams he could kind of wiggle out if he really tried. So I just kind of want to see, is he going to be able to get an attack in or something? And last night I was online with friends, so I didn't bother to look. This morning I woke up and it's like, okay, they didn't attack. I'll attack later today. But then I had some stuff to take care of. I helped install a lighting fixture in our kitchen, which took forever. And then I looked at the clock and I saw there were 2 minutes left until the end of GAC.
Oh,
so
no.
I whipped out my phone, just clicked on the game as fast as I could, switched to cellular data so it would load as fast as it could, jumped on there. I somehow managed to squeeze out 3 teams in 1 minute 30 seconds.
What?
That's crazy.
So I managed to clear the bottom territory. And
that's crazy.
Even if I cleared just one team, I still would have won because he had an attack still. And not that I'm sure he would even been able to beat any of my teams, but it was just like I only needed 1 team and I managed to squeak out 3. It was
crazy.
Amazing.
Crazy.
Gotta
a little
set
too
those
close.
timers, dog.
Good for you.
Gotta set those timers, dog.
Well, normally I'm really good about it, but today I lost track of time.
Sometimes it happens, yeah.
Yeah.
How about you, Darkett?
Round 3, whenever I have 2 losses in a row, I'm basically like, well, I got to change this up majorly. So I dropped Padme on D, and I put all my strong stuff up front. And I was basically like, I dare you. If you do get through this, I'm fucked because there's nothing back there.
Right.
But dropping Padme in the front, I moved the Dooku squad up a little bit too, because they get a good counter chance.
Mm-hmm.
And once it opened, I spent like 20 minutes, 30 minutes trying to get the defense right to avoid last place. But my opponent had a stroke, I think, while setting the defense. They put their fleet, and they put their back territory and left the front empty. I was like, what? What are you doing? Did you run out of time? Is this like some kind of strategy I don't know about where now I can't underman and get banners?
Yeah.
But he never attacked. I ended up getting basically a free win, 2009 to 428.
Nice.
And because of that, because I was able to clear so much, I took 5th place instead of 6th or 7th. So
nice.
Yep.
I took 7th. Womp womp.
Yeah. I took 4th.
Nice.
2 and 1. It's about right.
Well, we've got another week. We'll
but
be
this
back
time I
in
get
2
to use
weeks
my
then.
negotiator.
Got 3
That's
more
nice.
weeks.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I didn't.
I meant as far as until we talk about it again.
Yeah. I didn't do any major upgrades though between these 2 weeks because I wasn't really sitting on anything where I'm like I need to finish that for tomorrow. So I'm basically rolling in with kind of the same stuff I started with.
Yeah, I haven't joined yet. I haven't joined the event yet.
Yeah.
I'm gonna wait and see how far I get.
I'm gonna wait till tomorrow because I'm debating on just finishing 1 or 2 characters with the gear and reserving for gas. Just because at this point, I don't think gas is coming until the start of June.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Because if we're going by the number of months that CG usually puts in between, that's about the right time frame. But if you look at the number of days since the last event, we're at 76 days or whatever since the last event.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, are they going to launch it tomorrow and I'm going to regret everything? Or
We shall see.
I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest. It just comes out of nowhere and they're like, oh yeah.
That's the way it is. You
is
drop
supposed
all
to be
the stun
today.
guns. It's like, hey guys, guess what?
I already warned Mrs. Hardmeat. I'm like, listen, there's an event coming around, and I'm not
don't
going to
know
be
what-
much of
I
a
don't know when it's
father.
going to be around, but for
I'm not
about a
gonna be
week.
I'm not going to be much of a husband until I get this character. So just know, I know you're pregnant and your back hurts and whatever, but
She'll be like, it's fine because you'll be able to dominate as soon as you get the character unlocked. And you'll be like, actually, I've got about 3 more months to build the character.
like, why do you play this game? That's a great question, man. I don't know. No, but I got clearance and it's kind of funny. She's like, so what's happened with the event? Like, I don't know. CG decided that they're gonna change it. They don't know. They don't know when they don't even know. Maybe next month, I guess.
I was really hoping they were gonna drop it May 4th, because that would have
would-
been perfect time. Final season of the Clone Wars, Star Wars
Yeah.
Day, perfect timing, and they didn't.
You'd think.
About that.
Oh yeah, is that what we're here to talk about today?
Clone Wars?
Oh, Clone Wars.
That's what I'm here for.
Season 3.
We're only an hour and 40 minutes into our episode right now, so
Woo!
Well, there are a lot of slow parts to season 3, so that's good.
I actually, on my rewatch, I skipped a big chunk because I was like, I know what these stories are, and I don't need to watch them again. So,
Yeah.
I just speed through them when I prep for the show. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember this happens. I remember this happens. Okay,
Right.
we're good.
There's just like a few key things that occur, and yeah. Anyway, so this is the part of the show we've been doing a chronological viewing of all Star Wars content. So we are up to the Clone Wars season 3. We've watched everything in chronological order up to that point. So that's what we're going to talk about. There will be times where we inject some Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes.
speaking of which, did you find the DVD?
I
CD
sure
yet?
did it, man.
Okay,
I just need to drop $60, I guess, because my friends are sacks of shit and took my disc and decided, I don't know what happened to it. Okay, well,
When you first started that, I thought you were going to say that I was a sack of shit because I won't spend $60.
No. I have the disc and I loaned it to a friend and they claim they don't know where it's at.
Which friend? Let me go over there. I'll talk to him. We'll figure this out.
All right. So I guess I'm gonna make them feel really bad. Hey, man, real quick before I spend $60 on a game that's extinct that I'm gonna play for maybe 10 minutes. Can you look in your fucking house for my game that I gave you? Can you do that for me? Thank you.
No, can't be bothered.
Right. So yeah, we're gonna talk about season 3 of Clone Wars, and there is a lot of tie-ins for Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes.
It's a good season for the Galaxy of Heroes canon or story building and character building. So
it really connected a lot of dots for me. I'm like, I had many moments where I'm like, just constantly like, this is awesome.
There's also about 10 episodes I don't need. I'm just gonna say that from the beginning.
They should cut out a lot of shit.
Yeah.
All right. So you want to kick this one off, Darkest?
Sure. So season 3 released in the US on September 17th of 2010. In 2010, things that were going on in the world. Apple released the first iPad ever, iPad 1, I don't know, in January. The Winter Olympics were going on in Vancouver. We had our gigantic British petroleum oil spill.
Oh, yeah, shit.
The Gulf of Mexico. I didn't realize this, but that started on April 20th, on 4/20. Come on. Correlation?
Someone was
I
sleeping,
think so.
napping on the job.
Somebody was smoking, and they lit the Gulf of Mexico on fire. Well,
Sons of bitches.
maybe not so much fire in the Gulf of Mexico, but we also had the World Cup soccer tournament in Brazil. And I remember watching that, the first time I've really watched soccer was then. Because at that point I was teaching summer school in Texas. And the way that I could get the kids to do work, I actually was teaching math, which is fucking crazy that I would be teaching math for summer school kids who struggled learning in the first place. But yeah, that was the subject they gave me. And I was like, all right, guys, if we can spend a good 2 hours getting stuff done, the last hour, because we only had them for 3 hours, we're going to watch the World Cup. And they worked So good. So
That's called
that was my
incentivizing.
incentivizing. Yep. And I think the other only notable thing is one of my favorite apps, Instagram, launched that year too.
Nice.
So there were some other wars, you know, like the Arab Spring was starting, that whole thing. But you know, keeping it light.
Yeah. What were you? What was going on in your life at the time?
Working in Texas, teaching Texas history and math at some time. I was also doing a summer program with kids too. That was like enrichment, so we were teaching them like cooking. I took a bunch of kids out fishing a bunch of times, taught them disc golf.
Oh yeah. That was an awesome summer program you had.
It was fucking awesome.
Yep.
And they paid me to do it. Like, I'm teaching you how to grill, how to fish. You teach me how to play soccer and coach soccer, and then I can do that later.
Yeah.
Overall, it was a really cool like time in my life. It was Ella's first year of life too, so like enjoying being a dad. So
Nice.
How about you guys?
I was, I think I'd been dating my wife we weren't married at the time, but for about a year. And we lived together. We had our first place together, an apartment. Yeah, that's about it. I was just doing that. And this was not on my radar whatsoever, Clone Wars.
Yeah. I know students were watching it, but I wasn't.
Yeah, it just wasn't even. I had cable too. I totally could have watched it. It just wasn't. I don't know. The Clone Wars was the whole series just went right over my head as an avid Star Wars fan for whatever.
I'll tell you what. At that point in your life, though, like you're trying to like look cool for the new lady. You know, you don't want to. You don't want her thinking like you're watching some cartoon.
That's
or watching true. You watch a cartoon. That's
I'm watching sports. I'm watching the Detroit Tigers lose. Man,
but it's one of the best shows of all time, especially because I think it did just become the best show of all time, outstreaming everything else. I think.
Damn.
I saw reports that
honestly
it's the most demanded show now.
I'm thinking too, if you were watching this from week to week, would you be married right now?
Good point. Probably not.
Would it have been something where she was like, I don't know if I can stay with this guy. He's watching cartoons all the time.
Right. That's a valid point. How about you, BFL? What were you up to? You were with like 3.5 or something like that?
No. I was like 9 at the time. I was like 9.
Yeah.
Not much was going on in my life. I was in school. I was enjoying a simpler time in life. I was really psyched about the new season of Clone Wars because, again, I was an avid fan since the freaking first air date.
You had a childhood. I did.
Oh, I had a childhood. I loved every moment of it.
That's awesome.
I think this was the year I got an iPod Touch.
Nice.
I think I could be wrong, but if it was not 2010, it was like 2011. So
I had my iPod stolen this time.
That's the worst.
Oh no.
Yep.
All those hours on LimeWire.
Oh man, so many hours. They stole my car with my iPod in it, so I lost my car and my iPod on the same day. It was just a fucking
horrible
disaster. Yeah. All right. So what else? First time you watched?
For me, a couple of years ago when I was just starting this, that's kind of like the thing for all of these seasons is like I just started them and then kind of marathoned them basically. So I've seen this season. This is my third time watching it this season. So
oh damn, okay. Mine was just recently, a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
How about you, Corbin? Well, I guess
mine was September 17th, 2010 when it came out.
You were eating popcorn, you were ready in your Star Wars PJs.
Actually, I think it was either season 3 or
mask on.
It was either season 2 or season 3. I can't remember which, but my family surprised me by taking me to some place got like rented out by like a local Star Wars club or something. So it was just a bunch of us young 8 to 9 year old kids. We were all there with like our lightsabers and other Star Wars stuff. And they brought out a costume Darth Vader.
Oh, that's sweet.
So before it premiered, we got to duel Vader, which was
Nice.
crazy amounts of fun for young us. And I was the really fancy kid and brought a color changing lightsaber.
Dang.
Because when it was my turn to duel Vader, mine was initially red. So I switched the color to blue. And everyone was just like,
oh.
Ooh. Ah.
So
Let's go.
yeah, I got to kick off.
Was-
It was either this season or last season, but in a great way.
Was it a 501st like meetup kind of thing?
I don't think it was because the only person there was Vader.
Okay.
So I don't know.
Nice. I actually drained this beer. I think I might grab another one.
I'm on my third beer already. I
All right.
opened up another one of the same one. So
I'll be right back before we get into this. You guys
I drink.
talk amongst
I
yourselves.
drink quite a bit. We will.
I'm on the same bottle. Of
So
water.
if you were in the 501st cosplay legion, what would be your primary cosplay?
Oh, that's
Or I guess they call them uniforms for the 501st.
Yeah, they call them more uniforms. I've actually looked into it. I've also looked into the Mandalorian Mercs, which is like kind of like the subdivision of the 501st. They're
Okay.
focused on Mandalorian stuff. I don't know. I've looked into it. I kind of feel like I would go the route of it either be probably ARC Trooper or a Clone Commando, just because I have many fond memories of playing Republic Commando back when that was like a top Star Wars game that like everyone had played at some point. It had such a great campaign. Everyone could not wait for the sequel that just never came. Such a letdown. But yeah, I feel like I would probably do Commando I think I would lean more towards Commando because the helmet's just more iconic because it keeps the same like standard shape, but it's more rounded around, and the visor actually glows this very soft but amazing blue. And then Commandos just kind of had more freedom to decorate their armor because the kits could be designed properly for all sorts of different tasks. Because like some were more designed for sniper duty, so like in Clone Commandos, Zeph had like a shoulder plate full of ammo.
No, right.
Yeah. So I feel like that's kind of what I would do if I was 501st.
I think I would do Mandalorian, like a Mandalorian, because there's so many options and like customization things you could do, like, and nobody would question it really. Like it wouldn't necessarily be like a certain Mandalorian character, but like you can do whatever you want with that. You know, there's so many options.
I mean, there's so many options with them, especially because it's not like as confining to like, for example, the clones, because we've gotten a pretty good look at what their uniforms are and stuff. And
right.
Whereas with the Mandalorians, it's kind of just like pick a template. So, and the template's usually basically just what shapes the visor in.
Yeah.
And so once you do that, you can pretty much change the costume to just about anything, really.
Rick, we're just talking about if we ever join the 501st cosplay group, what would be our uniform of choice?
Oh, nice. I'd go Death Trooper because I'm tall.
Yeah, that'd be dope. Yeah.
I love the Death Trooper. It's my favorite Imperial Trooper.
They're pretty cool
in the game.
They're
anyway.
so cool.
All right, so let's get into it. So the season starts off with a bang. I loved this arc. No pun intended.
No, I do. The training sequence in episode 1 with the Domino Squad, I think it's great. Like,
Clone
it's
Cadets.
Like the first time you actually like get to know like what they go through.
Yes,
because like we said before, they're such forgettable characters for the most part, and a lot of the seasons before this, they're just like they're there. It's like, hey, Cody, you know, like you know them, like they're in the game, and like. But like you don't like know their struggles and the stuff they go through. And Clone Cadets, I think, is a very good open to get you a feel for these guys.
Yeah, absolutely. This is something like even the reference to the Domino Squad. You know, that's a Galaxy of Heroes, term and a tag. It's not a tag though, right?
It's like an ability, isn't it?
It's an ability.
A lot of their uniques have Domino in it because they were part of the Domino Squad.
Yeah,
that's what it is. Yep. So that was cool seeing kind of their development. Shock T, it's cool seeing Shock T, and I think this is her first appearance in the Clone Wars series.
Show, yep.
Yeah, so that was cool. She seemed pretty. I didn't realize she was they made her as like a trainer of the clones or like overseer or something.
I mean, for me, I really enjoyed the episode because, like, again, like Darkit said, we got to see more behind the scenes. Especially because, like, when you realize the Republic had to hire these bounty hunters to train the clones.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like they got a dedicated training command structure here. It's, hey, who wants to train the new army of the Galactic Republic?
Yeah.
But that was my one issue with it, is like, this is the best you've got to train all of these guys. Like, there's nobody else. Who was the one guy that kept complaining about this squad? The guy with the big brainy looking head.
Yeah, I can't remember his head.
Such a dumb looking
his name
species.
And the whole time he's like, I'm only doing this for the money, and like I don't really care. Just move on to the next one. Like just make them be one of the bad batches. But yeah, I mean, I still enjoyed it, but like that character, I'm like, really, there's nobody else like training these clones.
Well, it kind of just shows you the position the Republic was in as a whole, because
spread pretty thin,
and they're trying to get these clones out as fast as they can because clones take longer to replace than battle droids.
True.
So, especially when you consider the Republic had no formal military before the start of the Clone Wars, so there was no local garrison that was training up an army. There was police departments, but that was about it. They just didn't have the structure for the war, which Palpatine played on very, very
right. Exploited that for sure.
Quick bathroom run, and I'm going to stop my video so I don't show my crack to the entire video.
Yeah, well, come on. You sure you don't want to show us your crack? You're getting rather lewd.
Well, now they get to enjoy his wonderful profile picture.
Yeah. So, they really focus on the Domino Squad, which is comprised of Heavy, Cut Up, Fives, and Echo, which I had never heard the names Cut Up or Heavy. I did hear of Heavy before.
So this is, in case no one's aware, the Clone Wars episodes aren't in chronological order per se.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I haven't got
I've
never seen season 4 through 7, so I'm unaware.
Yeah, so in season 2, I think it's season 2, I could be wrong, we see the Rishi Outpost episode where we get introduced to the commando droids. That's where we first get introduced to Domino Squad, because Heavy's there, Cut Up's there.
I didn't realize that at the time.
Yeah, and spoiler if you guys don't know this already, but I'm assuming you do if you're listening to this podcast, because they covered season 2 already. But Heavy and Cut Up perished at the Rishi Outpost, which is why moving forward after this point, all we see is Fives and Echoes. They're the sole survivors of Domino Squad.
Yeah, and they mention briefly, I think it's in the next episode, like Heavy didn't make it, which was kind of like anticlimactic. But when you think of it retrospectively in season 2, I don't really remember it, to be honest, because there was no context of that character, up to that point,
Yeah, because I mean, he died at the end of that episode by sacrificing himself.
Okay.
He was the one that triggered the Gonk explosion.
Got it. Okay.
Yep. It does in that sequence. If you're not watching them like season by season, like kind of in a row, you forget about that stuff. Because I think I did that. I had like a gap the first time I watched it, and I got into season 3, and I was like, I remember Heavy, and like I wasn't entirely like figuring out that this whole like flashback sequence was kind of going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, it didn't make sense to me at first, but like it I think it's the way they did it. Now that I know how it's done, I'm like, oh yeah, it's kind of genius the way they did it.
Right. Yeah, I would be interested to go back. I don't have any desire to watch season 2 again anytime soon. But...
No. I think if I was watching this as a kid, I would not be following though.
Right.
No, I didn't really follow. I mean, I kind of I realized, oh wait, that's heavy. Wait, how's he alive? And then I realized, oh wait, this is beforehand.
Yeah.
Because is there any titles that say like 30 years ago or whatever?
No.
Okay, because that can be really confusing for a kid.
It can be. I mean, and you gotta keep in mind as a kid, we didn't really care too much about the continuity of it really at the time. It was more of just what's happening this episode, who's gonna die, who's getting shot at, what cool lightsaber trick are they gonna do this time.
I could imagine.
Years old and I still struggled with how it flowed together.
That would be sweet as a 9-year-old to have this. Like when I was 9, I was watching Beast Wars, which was a Transformers. It wasn't a ripoff because I guess they did have the intellectual properties or whatever of Transformers, but it was weird. It was like that was my jam. But like having something like this would have been way cooler because I love Star Wars, obviously.
I've watched some of those old clips and I'm just like, animation's come away.
Sure has. And I see your note here, Dark, at 99 is awesome. He's like,
99 is really cool.
Yeah, really, very cool character.
Yep.
He's
just like he cares so much about all the clones. He knows all of them. He remembers all of them. You know, he's a good dude. He's
like a partially like disabled elderly gentleman, right? Like a clone that I don't know what exactly happened, but like he's looks like he has some type of physical limitations and like.
And well, that's the reason he became a janitor, was because due to his physical limitations. He never had a chance to do his training because the moment they detected the genetic defect, they're like, put him on janitor duty.
Yeah.
He's the first one that mentions Bad Batch too, right?
No, Bad Batch doesn't exist at this point.
No, but like in one of these episodes, they say Bad Batch. I don't know if it was him or if it was like the guy that was training the clones.
Oh, the bounty hunter.
The bounty hunter, specifically the big brain one, they refer to 99 and all other genetic defect clones as a Bad Batch.
Okay.
So it wasn't until after the fall of Camino that like the Bad Batch Commando Squad was formed, and then they realized these guys are still capable.
Well, I mean, I didn't even like think anything of that term before watching the new season. So
yeah,
Dark, your video got really choppy and delayed when you came back. Okay. Just a heads up.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, and then the second episode, Arc Troopers, was I liked this episode a lot. It essentially is the clash on Camino, quite literally.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, this is what the event's based on,
which gives context to that event and General Skywalker and Asajj and kind of the connection with the Separatists. It just connects a lot of dots. But I thought this was cool, kind of seeing Asajj and Grievous work together on the attack on Camino, because essentially that's what it is. The Separatists launch a major attack on the Camino, which is the training facility or the cloning facility for the Republic. So Asajj really gets showcased in this episode, I thought. She at one point force chokes a clone onto her lightsaber, and then she kisses him, which is pretty grotesque. Like it's like this weird sexual, but also like really evil way of doing business. You know, like totally unnecessary. You could just kill a guy, or you didn't have to force choke him. You could have just killed him, and you didn't have to kiss him. So just a lot of unnecessary things, but kind of gives you insight into her character, and
she plays with emotions. It's part of her thing,
which is something I didn't notice as a younger audience. When I went back and rewatched this, I realized, oh wow, this meant a lot. This showed a lot of her character.
Well, the season really is like huge for Asajj. Like there's so many things that go right and wrong for her. So,
which brings us to a very important question. FMK, the Night Sisters. Let's do it. I'm not marrying Asajj. Asajj would kill me in my sleep. 100%.
You probably want to kill her because she's going to be a liability, really.
Oh no, no. I would she'd be my F.
She'd be your F.
Yeah. I mean, think about it. Is there a more attractive Night Sister? Maybe Acolyte?
No. The
Maybe
Acolytes,
Initiate?
did you watch the Acolytes when they're carrying Asajj to the bed?
No.
They got some curves on them. They got some curves, I'm just saying.
Those girls are doing some good training, Lots of
Yep.
squats, lots of lunges,
Built to spill.
resistance bands and such.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anyway,
So, yeah, ARC troopers. We see the attack on Camino. We get to see the clones fight to protect their home. Some of the clone cadets. So keep in mind, these are the children clones are fighting to the death against the droids because they need every soldier they can get because the Separatists surprised them because they came from space. They got the spaceships. Anakin was shooting them all down. It's like, Master, this is too easy. And then they realized they had the squid ships attached to the
Yeah.
hulls. So as soon as they fell, deployed Aqua B2s, which were a really interesting addition to the Clone Wars universe because it showed just how prepared.
Those were crazy.
Yeah, it showed how prepared the Separatists were for this war. They're like, haha, we're ready for this.
Yeah.
yeah, like the penetrating ships that
Mhm.
speared
Uh-huh.
the shell of the well, I guess they just injected themselves into the building, which was kind of sweet.
They did. They just plopped right in, opened the door. Here come the B2s.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
And
Now, one thing that's weird about this episode is, for me, this is maybe the best episode of the whole season, and it's episode 2.
yeah.
The action doesn't. I mean, there's other cool episodes that build up characters and whatnot, but action wise, I think this has one of the strongest sequences of really the entire season.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I also additionally really love this episode because I played a lot of the original Battlefront 2 game, specifically on the Camino map. So for me, it was just really interesting seeing their layout of Camino because obviously a game from 2005, I think that was when it was released, compared to the layout in 2010 is a lot different, especially when you kind of look at the architecture differences a little. Yeah, it's the same, but it's also a little different. But it was just, to me, it was a great episode. It was fun because it had the nice large scale action, but also the small independent action because of Asajj. And then it just, it had some powerful feeling to it as a kid because the clones, this is their home. They're pulling out all the stops here.
yeah, it felt really grand because of splitting Anakin and Kenobi up. At the beginning, there's a whole space battle going on, and then there's all this stuff going on, at the ground level or the water level, whatever you want to call it. And then inside too, there's so many different elements working at once. It felt more like a penultimate episode, the one before the finale almost.
Yeah. Honestly, there's a lot of dud episodes after this.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly,
Totally.
I have
There's a good 10 where I'm good.
0, none. The where I have of the most memorable things, it jumps to episode 9 with Hunt for Zero.
For me, there's anytime there was some good quotes are ones that I enjoyed that to pay attention enough to want to quote them. This episode had so many good quotes from it. Asajj is giving shit to Grievous at one point, and she's keep playing with your droids. I'll handle breaking into the DNA room. And then Grievous is well, fuck you. Shall I provide you with a droid escort on your way? And then Asajj says, my dear general, there's nothing you have that I could want. And I was like, oh, those two can go back and forth and really get to the heart of each other. So
yeah, they didn't really enjoy their company that much.
No, they did not. But there's a lot of episodes on this season that I'm nah, I'm good.
Rogue commented when we were talking about our FMK of the Night Sisters. He said,
Oh, yeah.
or they said, I don't know, guy or girl said, you have to kill Daka. She can revive the others.
That's true. Good call.
Didn't
think about that.
Rogue. You nailed it, Rogue. You have to. I mean, there's no other choice.
That makes that very easy.
Well, you know what? I wouldn't fuck Daka, and I wouldn't marry Daka. So yeah, that checks out. That checks out.
I think Talia might be a
marry her if she has money. If she was like has a nice inheritance built up, maybe, could inherit the fortune. Who knows?
We said though the acolytes they got the the pew.
Oh, that's funny. Good. Our buddy Zereth of the Gambit podcast is trying to get on the chat, but okay, he's got a issue with his a firewall. He can't comment, but he caught the end of the stream anyway. How you doing, Zereth? Thanks for hopping in. All right. So yeah, I kind of fast forwarded. Did you guys have anything up until Hunt for Zero?
There's one episode, episode 3. That was the one that is the only episode that Amagundi's in. I'm gonna die. And I did like I'm gonna die. I like his one line where he's fighting off I don't know who, but they're trying to defend the Twi'lek planet of Ryloth.
Mm-hmm.
And he sees a drop ship coming in. He's like, the Twi'leks will live to fight another day. And then it's just like, and then he just gets shot a bunch of times and falls to his death, So
see, I remember I read it was a quote about that particular episode because someone asked David Filoni, like, it was something about that episode. They said, what's funny? When we were having the meeting and trying to come up with like the Jedi Master who was going to die, because we knew from the start we wanted someone to die there. We were trying to come up with names, and someone just said, well, we can't just name him I'm going to die.
Oh, yeah, they did. They did.
And they named him I'm going to die.
I'm not going to die. You can't like mask it. You can't like make it some kind of like Latin name that like most of us don't get. You're just going to like come out and be like, I'm not going to die.
All right. So, Hunt for Zero, the only reason I bring it up is because McReilly showcases what a badass Cad Bane is.
Cad Bane is great, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Dude,
Yep.
he does not get his due in Galaxy of Heroes. He is a total badass.
Mm-hmm.
This episode is whatever. Who gives a fuck? Zero gets captured or released.
All the Hut stuff
whatever.
I don't care about. It's stupid.
I can't take Zero's voice. That is the dumbest shit. So not in the Star Wars universe. Like, ugh.
And the stupid tattoo thing he's got going on. Like, what is that?
I don't like it. I'm not into it.
It's weird.
But this is kind of a cool episode because Kenobi is teamed up with this other Jedi, this Quinlan Vos.
Mhm.
Is that how you say it?
Something
Another
like that.
a Jedi Master. Yeah, he's like this kind of, I don't know, almost like a recluse or just sort of kind of a loose cannon. It seems like he kind of has this reputation, and Obi-Wan's really not looking forward to working with him. But there's a pretty cool showdown between Cad Bane and Obi-Wan and Quinlan. Pretty sweet. Cad Bane goes toe-to-toe with 2 Jedi Masters simultaneously, and he almost wins. He actually disarms Quinlan. He separates him from his lightsaber, and then he uses his that shocking mechanism he has. He shocks the shit out of Obi-Wan and brings him to his knees, and then he escapes with his ability to fly, those little jet boots he has, which are sweet.
Mm-hmm.
He escapes, but it's just crazy to me, like the power balance between bounty hunters and Jedi in the movies is relatively cut and dry. It's like, well, yeah, the Jedi typically do a pretty good job of taking care of cleaning up bounty hunters, but I mean, there's of course exceptions to that. But Obi-Wan, with Cad Bane, I mean, he really he does a number on these two.
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, he sure does.
Yeah, Cad Bane was kind of just like the jump start for like the scoundrels in the Star Wars universe again. Because, like you said, all the bounty hunters we've seen on the big screens, they all just died. Greedo died instantly. Django, yeah, he fought
Right.
for a little bit, but he got decapitated like 10 seconds into the fight with Mace.
Yeah.
So seeing a bounty hunter go toe to toe with Jedi, with just a couple blasters and his stun,
And his droid kind of running interference.
yeah, it was a big wow moment,
Yeah.
especially as a kid, because just like, these are Jedi. What?
Right.
Yeah.
And Django goes. We get a little taste of it when Django goes toe to toe with Obi-Wan in the Clone Attack of the Clones. But it's a pretty hard fought battle. It's not like really Django had the upper hand per se. I don't know. I have to watch it again, but I guess we are going to watch it again soon. All right. So you had notes on heroes on both sides, Darkit, I see.
It was one of those episodes that is very political and economics based. So like it wasn't a great one for the series development. But I did think that there was one quote that Padme did with Anakin that was funny, where she was Anakin was like talking down. He was mansplaining to her basically how war is complicated. And the separatists believe this, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, nope. Maybe talking to the Jedi Council isn't the role for you after all. And I was like, oh shit. She just like totally flipped that around on him. And he's like, don't you mansplain to me.
Right.
And it's like, hey. And then Padme says that you told me to teach Ahsoka about politics, so I'm going to. So you empowered me, and now you're regretting it.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, what I enjoyed about this episode was it showed just how dark the Separatists could be. Because in this episode, Padme and Ahsoka, they travel in secret to talk to one of Padme's old friends that's now in the Confederacy, to talk about what can they do to try and encourage peace. And what they find out is the Separatists are in basically the same boat as the Republic. They're close to nearing bankruptcy. The war is causing a lot of strain on their people. Everyone's just asking for it to be over. And it's this huge middle ground. It's like the Separatists aren't that evil. It's just Dooku and his officers.
Yeah, it did kind of humanize him a little bit.
Yeah, this is the one where like she goes and sees her friend, and then Dooku's like, "Yeah, your friend was killed at the end of it, or something."
Mm-hmm.
I think it was this one. Yeah,
and
she seems very normal. The friend that's in the Separatists Confederacy or whatever. So.
I mean, she's kind of on par with Mon Mothma a little bit.
Yeah,
because she keeps talking about peace. And she's always wearing a white dress, kind of like Mon Mothma's, in a way. It's just, you could see, especially when engaging, the war was so one-sided. It was all Palpatine and Dooku. No one really wanted the war. They played their cards right.
Yeah.
And then additionally, Ahsoka met the senator's son. I can't remember his name.
Yeah, there's a love story nobody wanted.
Yeah, there's there's a little bit of a love story nobody wanted. That kind of happens there briefly, but
yeah, that one and like the Pursuit of Peace kind of all blend together for me. Like nothing major really happened, but then it kind of heats up with Night Sisters and Monster and Witches. Yeah. So that
is where really I woke up. I'm like, okay,
I was not
Night Sisters.
I think this is actually the first time that I was like, okay, Night Sisters. I still don't like them, but like this did help me learn about them and I understand them, I guess, maybe a little more because of this arc.
Yeah, this was super cool. Like it starts off with a pretty standard space battle with Asajj Ventress piloting a ship, which begs the question: why doesn't she have a ship? It's a cool ship. Why isn't that in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes?
Well, it's a really cool ship because we saw that back in the original 2003 Clone Wars cartoon movie /short. So the minute they showed that design as a kid, I'm like, I recognize that. And like you said, it's a really cool, unique ship because it's kind of like a solar sail, but it's on the back of it and it kind of extends and folds out.
That's a huge missed opportunity for CG.
Yeah,
Come
I
on, man.
really hope CG adds it eventually. I really
Yeah.
do. I mean, especially just to fill out the Separatists a little bit more.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, it doesn't have to be a great ship, like it just a ship would be nice
yeah.
instead of, oh yeah, we've got these vulture droids that just
And the Geos. Woo!
yeah.
You you do need a good ship there at the end because everybody's pulling in IG 2000. Like that would make a lot of sense actually to have like that Genevieve starfighter in there. So.
Some kind of a separatist synergy. But yeah, this episode starts.
She doesn't get along with Grievous, so maybe like
that's true.
She gets an advantage, but then like he doesn't. I don't know.
Right. So like Sidious instructs Dooku to eliminate Asajj Ventress to prove his loyalty. He claims that she's growing too powerful and that Dooku needs to eliminate her to prove his loyalty to him.
Yeah, because he was kind of afraid Dooku was training an apprentice to kill him.
Right. He was. Yep. Yeah. And that's what he said. But it's like anytime he talks, you're like, I don't know, man. Yeah. The guy's so full of shit. But so Dooku instructs his droids to attack Ventress when she least suspects it. Kind of pulls an Order 66 on her almost, and tries to eliminate her.
And keep in mind, to do this, so they crashed in the hangar of a Providence class dreadnought.
Yeah. So
it's her, Obi-Wan, and Anakin battling in this hangar bay, and Dooku calls all the other fleet commander droids and just says, "Open fire on that ship, blow it up. I don't care what's on there. I don't care how many droids. Just blow the thing to smithereens. Don't let her escape."
Yep. Yeah, and they claim that she's didn't survive the impact or whatever, and she ends up getting on like is it an escape pod or some kind of a.
She limps with her ship because she manages to get it just restarted enough, and the explosion kind of shoves her out.
She's like in a coma or something, and she gets
she gets knocked out, and she's just kind of drifting through space, and then a junk trader finds her.
Yeah, which brings up a great quote. I liked it. As soon as she comes to, there's like these space pirates that are just like examining her.
Mm-hmm.
She says, "Take me to Dathomir," and the space pirate says, "Now, why would you want to go there? Ain't nothing but fog and witches," which I thought was a great great quote. Yep, and then she says, "Exactly, yep." And I love this. Then they go to Dathomir, and it's Dathomir. To be honest, what I know of Dathomir is from Star Wars Galaxies, the MMO that I used to play, and I think they did a better job of making that a very creepy planet. Like it is literally. There's not a lot of fog in the Clone Wars iteration of Dathomir. It looked a little too colorful for me. Like I thought, like it looked very
animation. They're limited on like what they can do with fogs and stuff like that because then you can't see like everything that you kind of need to. So like it does make sense on why they chose not to do that for the series.
Yeah, I just like the aesthetic more in Star Wars Galaxies. It was very very gloomy, like just dark, tons of fog, just very ominous and creepy, and truly looked like a horrific planet. This is the planet of the Night Sisters. This is the planet of the Rancor. Just like a very creepy planet with all these dark, demonic sort of like animals and creatures that are native to it. So I thought they had an opportunity there, but I still liked getting into the backstory. So Asajj Ventress goes home, and she is accosted by Talzin, Mother Talzin from Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, and the Initiates, and Talia's in the background, but they haven't really introduced her yet.
Yeah, Talia just kind of was there, and because she's the one who met Asajj at the front door, basically, because she killed all the other pirates. So she was the only one walking off the ship because it was just parked, and they're like, "Who's this stranger that kind of looks like us?"
And it's cool because it gives you like this is the most insight we've had into the Night Sisters at all. Like
Yeah.
up to this point, they're just these
Witches.
characters, these witches in this game, and I heard of them from Star Wars Galaxy, the MMO, and it was interesting to kind of see that she was learning more about her backstory, that she was given up as an offering, right, to a Jedi actually.
Yeah.
We learn, I think maybe in the next episode, but
I think it's maybe in Monster.
But they get into like her origin story, and then she basically divulges that she was attacked by Dooku, and that Dooku turned on her, and she wants revenge, and the Night Sisters are going to help her.
Because Asajj was originally being trained as a Jedi apprentice.
Yeah, which is crazy. I never put that together. I always wondered how she became entwined in the Sith, or being an apprentice of Dooku. Is just how do you get from being a Night Sister to that, which was cool to learn, kind of the origin story. She was given up as an offering to, I don't know who.
I think it was pirates because I remember her like force pushing someone away from the Jedi, and then him picking up and saying, "You're gonna come with me, little one."
Yeah, her caretaker, whoever, was killed in some sort of a raid, and then the Jedi took her and trained her, and then
he died, and so then she fell to the dark side. Then Dooku found her, and
which brings our. Oh, sorry. Did you have a quote you want to talk about, Darkit, or no?
It was back on the hangar bay when they crashed. We kind of missed it already, but when they first get to Ventress and like open it up, Obi-Wan says, "Ventress, you're not looking well," and then Anakin says, "She never does."
Well, this is right after she's
the best looking one of all of them. Yeah,
because Dooku just calls her and says, "You have failed."
Okay.
So Rogue is my homie now. He said in chat that he or she, I'm sorry, I don't know your gender, but I spent many days and nights on Dathomir in Star Wars Galaxies back in the day, killing Night Sisters for crystals for my lightsaber. That's how I knew of them. I mean, they were an awesome, really a very mysterious and creepy and extremely powerful NPC in that game. Like, especially if you weren't like an end game player who was prepared, they were just like wrecking machines and just creepy. Like, they were like horror movie villains, like just, it was so creepy because you'd be walking. It's an open world game, like something similar to like Skyrim or, other games you've played that have like an open map. So you're just walking aimlessly and just run into a Night Sister who's just this creepy witch in the fog. You can barely see them. You're like, is that a monster? Is that a witch? What is that? And they're just there by themselves, just super creepy. But Rogue identifies as a Wookiee, so that's good. Sorry, good to know. But yeah, it's
Wookiee
just.
Call.
But yeah, I loved this arc, and it just got better. It just kept getting better. I'm like the whole time, like it literally woke me up. I'm like, okay, I'm invested now. Season 3 isn't a complete pile of shit, but and that brings us to Monster, which is a cool episode.
It is a cool episode.
Yeah, they're trying to their way into Dooku is to find a replacement and offer it to Dooku. In exchange, as sort of like a mole. So they go to this male dominated
side of Dathomir.
Yeah, the side of Dathomir, exactly. That's where all the males go, which is very interesting. Like there's like a matriarchal society and a patriarchal society, in a different area. So they go there to try to find the best warrior to that would make for Dooku's new apprentice.
Yeah.
And this is where they find Savage Opress and Farrell, which they were both these males that were trained under this particular overlord or whatever. And they have these like trials of combat with Asajj, which were cool.
Yeah.
Savage and Farrell, I believe, were gay lovers, because you're not just like that friendly with someone, like, oh no, I'll save myself for my homie. I'm sorry, Darth Darkin, but if
I didn't pick that up. I guess I need to watch that episode again.
if somebody's threatening my life, I don't know if I'm jumping in front of a bullet for you necessarily. Like, I don't know. I don't know if I'm doing that.
Probably
to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't recommend it.
And vice versa. I mean, you've got a family. I mean, if you're about to get shot, you drew the short straw, man. I don't know. I'm not about to.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Every bureau for themselves.
I mean, it's kind of more interesting when you think about, because this is when we realized that the Night Sisters were the dominant members on Dathomir. Nothing happened on the planet unless they said so. They ruled over the males.
Yeah, I didn't really make that. That's a good point. Yeah, that they were like they set up that institution, and they were totally could do whatever they wanted to those males. They were
because
far superior.
Yeah, because Asajj, when she goes to them, she goes under the ruse of a mating ritual. So like just trying to figure out which one would be the best to mate with, when in reality it's to find a warrior to plant as a mole.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just kind of really interesting to see that was how Dathomir worked. Yeah,
very cool. I loved getting this backstory given to us in these few episodes in this arc. And I liked the part where Mother Talzin was specifically talking about Savage, who ended up getting chosen as the dominant male to be Dooku's apprentice. She was really impressed by the amount of hatred found in him, and which ties in. There's a similar tie to the Sith, and that a big foundation of the Sith is hatred, and using that to channel that to become a strength of yours. So I found that interesting. And then there's this really cool scene where they get Savage, and then the Night Sisters, they bring him back, and they perform this ritual where it just makes him just fucking jacked out of his mind. He grows, like he gets super buff, like he grows in height. He gets this awesome armor, and becomes just this roided out freak, who is just capable of unknown destruction. And then they even bring back his former lover, Farrell, and Savage just wastes this dude, like has no remorse.
Brutally.
Yeah. What did he choke him, or did he?
He choked him. He just literally had him in the neck and just went
nasty. But super cool. Again, from a Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes perspective, I didn't have any clue who Savage Opress was, other than he looked cool in the game. And he was one of the first characters I farmed out of the Squad Arena store, honestly, because it just looked cool. I'm like, he's a Zabrak. He's got face paint. He has huge shoulders and awesome like armor and just cool lightsaber, and just was a compelling character just from an aesthetic perspective. But it was cool to get his background and kind of how he came to be.
Yeah, I mean, especially because we can see how he grows, because like initially after the transformation, all he really does is just growls. He kind of seemed to lost the ability to like think higher thoughts.
He's kind of like the mountain from Game of Thrones, after
I can see that.
Yeah, he's not as talkative after his reincarnation or whatever you want to call it. He's very just kill, hate.
Yeah. And then eventually he becomes they give him to Dooku, and he becomes his apprentice, and you get to see some firsthand Savage Opress destruction, which is awesome. He brutalizes these two Jedi like they're nothing, and then Dooku starts actually training him, or he may have started training him before, but then it seems like the montage.
This was the test, because he still had his enchanted staff.
You're right. Yeah,
dual-bladed lightsaber.
Yeah, good point. But that was cool. I liked seeing the training montage again with the Sith. The really cool thing about it is that the Sith are not we don't know much about the Sith. You know, we never see Palpatine training Vader. We never seen Darth Maul being trained by Sidious. We don't see any of that. It's just very like behind closed doors, hush hush. But we actually get to see Dooku train to train Darth or Savage Opress, which is just really cool. Like using the Force lightning to force Savage to like lift these rocks. You know, channeling that inner hatred is. I thought that was just really cool.
Kind of the opposite of the training montage between Yoda and Luke.
Yeah.
In Empire Strikes Back. It's kind of the opposite of it. Connection. They do the same things, but two completely different methods.
Yeah.
And then one thing I want to note before I forget, in this episode, we see Delta Squad for the very first and very last time in Star Wars canon.
Who is it?
Delta Squad is a commando squad from the Star Wars first-person shooter Republic Commando.
Oh.
Which the fans loved, and we're still eternally waiting that sequel. Because, I mean, it was a fairly short game, I guess, in reality, but it was such a fun game because it put you on the front lines of the Clone Wars, or behind enemy lines, because you were a commando squad. And so you had these really memorable characters. Sev, which was the sniper, Fixer, which was kind of like the computer geek, Scorch, which was the demolitions expert, the character you played, which was Boss. We got to see Delta Squad here in this episode for the first and last time since then, as far as I'm aware.
Oh, interesting.
So it was a nice little Easter egg for big fans like me. It's like, second I saw them, like, oh, Delta Squad.
Yeah. Interesting. All right, so I guess that's kind of where that arc ends. And then the new arc starts, which is now this arc, I don't know if I love this or hate this. I was conflicted the whole time. I'm like, is this interesting or is this a red herring? I wasn't sure what was really happening. But it's sort of like go ahead.
I was gonna say this is probably one of my least favorite arcs in the entire series.
Yeah.
The only thing, like, so what it is they hear this Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Ahsoka. You hear this transmission, this legend or this ancient transmission.
Yeah, Ancient Republic SOS.
Yes, and it draws them to this planet. And if you want to speak on a BFL, you probably can word it better than I can at this point.
Well, it's not even a planet. It's just this weird golden/bronze, like diamond shaped structure that just
cube kind of thing.
Yeah, it just opens up, and you just see this blinding white light, and all of a sudden they're on this planet. Like, they never really described what it was.
It's like an alternate dimension or something.
Kinda.
Yeah, hard to explain.
Because it was like impervious to time and space, you know, like when this whole thing ends, you know, they're talking to one of the clones and they're like, "Sir, you've been gone for a minute," or something like that.
Yeah, there was like 5 minutes. You dropped off our radar.
Yeah, and they had this whole like epic journey and experience.
We've been there for years.
Yeah, right. They were there for a couple of days from their perspective.
Yeah.
But as we watch in that arc, we kind of see time is subjective there.
Yeah.
Because Anakin
actually
does some stuff.
My rewatch skipped over this entire arc. I was like,
we don't have to talk much on it unless you have a lot BFL.
I have a little bit because
go ahead.
I recently had to dig into this a little bit because of a side project I'm working on. So to get a little bit more background, they are on this distant planet or dimension, whatever you want to call it, and they find these powerful force wielders, which we know later to be referred to as the Celestials, which actually come up again in Star Wars Rebels for anyone that recognizes that connection.
Oh, nice. I will put a little pin in it.
Yeah, so the Celestials basically predated any known galactic civilization in the Star Wars universe. From the Star Wars lore and no longer canon lore, it was kind of theorized they were the ones who seeded the galaxy, and that and they're the ones that kind of controls the Force. They're the ones that try to maintain the balance or tip it. Not much is really known about them otherwise. If you want to go into the non-canon stuff, they were kind of theorized to create a lot of the solar systems in the Star Wars universe, particularly Corellia, so like Han Solo's home planet. They're responsible for the creation of that. They're responsible for the creation of the Maw, so that series of black holes where the prototype Death Star was hidden in, I think, also no longer canon material. But yeah, so
sort of like gods in a way.
They were basically gods because they were the oldest, and they manipulated the entire Force. The Force entirely flowed through them. They were the conduit, basically.
Yeah, there's like a daughter and a son who are good and evil, and then there's the father who was sort of like, I don't know, just this.
Yeah, he kind of served to try and balance them. He tried to keep them in order. So the daughter represented the light, and the son represented the darkness. I mean, fun fact, there was actually cut content. David Filoni wanted to put it in, but George Lucas kind of said, maybe we shouldn't, where they were going to have Darth Bane and Darth Revan appear in the episode.
That'd have been sweet.
It was going to be the son talking to them and them influencing him.
Ooh, that would have been a dope.
It would have been, but they just didn't do it in the end, which, I can kind of understand why. But so, yeah, Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Ahsoka, they realize they're kind of trapped there. And the reason they're there is because the father wants to find out if Anakin's the chosen one, the one to bring balance to the Force.
And he was in a roundabout way.
Yeah, so the father kind of put Anakin to a test that Anakin didn't want to be a part of because he just wanted to leave.
I'll be right back.
All right. So the father had each of his children take one of his friends. So I think the son got Ahsoka and the daughter got Kenobi, and they were going to kill him unless Anakin could control them, because only the chosen one is supposed to be able to do that. So we get to see this really rare moment where Anakin just kind of lets loose and just uses the full power of the Force. And we see the day and night cycle fly by in seconds. Like, no time's physically passing for them. It's just the sky is rotating, which is really weird and disorienting. And we see him literally put the children down on their knees and just force them to obey him. It's at this moment a lot of people kind of start theorizing this is when Anakin really kind of started to go to the dark side, because he kind of like tapped into that power and kind of realized what he had. And then we get to see a really rare cameo of Qui-Gon Jinn appearing from the dead. That you made mention.
So much of this arc I just completely forget because I didn't watch it the second time around.
Yeah, so Qui-Gon Jinn kind of pokes his head in real quick and talks to Kenobi alone. It's just like, the reason I'm talking to you is because this is like the strongest point in the Force, and I can teach you how to communicate as a Force ghost, which explains how Obi-Wan does it in the later Star Wars films. But Anakin decides that he wants to leave. He doesn't want to stay and take the father's place to keep the balance. So a power struggle ensues, kind of. The son kidnaps Ahsoka and pumps her full of the dark side, so she just becomes this really crazed person. She kind of goes insane a little bit as well.
Yeah, the darkness corrupts her and makes her like almost like a demonic version of herself, or an evil version of herself.
Yeah. And so the father tries to help a little bit, but not too much, because like he can't get involved too much with his children affairs for some reason. So it's all on Anakin and Kenobi. So they kind of have to battle her to try and. They don't want to kill her. They just want to neutralize her. While they're also trying to fight off the sun a little bit because the sun breaks him up. So the sun deals with Kenobi, and it's Anakin versus Ahsoka. Some stuff goes down. The sun tries to influence Anakin more through this, and doesn't really work. The daughter comes in. She dies, unfortunately, and uses the last of her Force ability to renew life in Ahsoka because she was kind of too far gone at this point. So at that point, we see the father literally says the balance has shifted to the dark side. There's nothing we can do now, really. And so the son gives one last final attempt in the next episode, where he shows Anakin visions of the future, puts voices in his head. So we hear some Darth Vader lines. We hear a couple of the lines from Revenge of the Sith.
This is probably the biggest takeaway.
Yeah, this is the biggest takeaway because, like,
from this arc.
Yeah, because this is when we really get to see Anakin start to fall a little. Because this is when the idea of what he might become gets thrown in his head.
Yeah, because he's accosted with, these prophetic visions of what he is capable of or what he does. And it terrifies him. I'm capable of all of this destruction and this, the hatred of everything that Darth Vader. I would imagine that's what he saw, is everything that Darth Vader became, and the darkness that was. But
yeah, so he successfully converts Anakin a little bit. So Kenobi has to jump into a lava hole where Anakin is, kind of reminiscent of a certain episode, huh? So him and Anakin have to do a little duel over the lava pit. Stuff goes down. He knocks Kenobi unconscious or something, steals the hover bike he took, tries to fly to the shuttle because he wants to. Now he wants to escape the planet, but spread the dark side now. So small little gamble ensues. They fight Anakin. They manage to knock him unconscious, and so the father uses the last of his energy to heal Anakin and remove his son's influence.
And he wipes Anakin's mind in the process.
Yeah,
right?
he wipes Anakin's mind in the process.
Of what he saw.
Yeah, of what he saw. So he no longer knows he's going to become Vader.
Which kind of makes this all a little plot devicey. It's like, okay, this arc was kind of pointless at the end of the day.
At the end of the day. And so the only one left alive of the Celestials is the sun now. So the dark side's got an overwhelming power advantage now. Which I'm pretty sure Sidious could not have planned this at all.
Yeah.
But I'm sure he loved those bonus points. He's like, ooh.
Right.
So
the darkness is winning, you say. Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
So they escape right after this point. Like, they don't even get on the ship. It's just like the father's like, leave.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden they're on the ship and they're just like, what just happened?
Yeah, it's like a dream sequence almost.
Yeah, and they're like, hey, we lost you guys for a minute. Did you find the signal or something? And they're just like, contact the council.
Yeah. I'll explain this to you in another day.
Yeah. So that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
It was a power struggle that in reality meant nothing.
Right. Yeah, basically. And really the rest of the season I don't find too. I think the best episodes are earlier in the season.
Yeah.
Yeah, the sequence of the season is really all over the place.
Yeah.
Like
you get a
couple good arcs, but like they definitely didn't pace it right because it feels so front loaded that like the last half of the season, even like the last two episodes, I'm like, okay, I don't know.
They're nothing episodes. They're just like, okay. I just in the episode Counterattack, they introduced this character, or maybe they they had him before, but his name is Jedi Master Evan Peel. Okay, I can't take that guy seriously. He's 3.5 feet tall, number one. He's missing an eye, and looks like he has pretty strong lightsaber prowess. But that doesn't make up for his short stature, coupled with the giant floppy ears, and he's got some kind of like a stupid braid sticking out of the top of his stupid head. I don't know. I didn't like the character. He ends up getting murked pretty easily by a droid.
Yeah.
But he does pass on some type of information to Ahsoka. Did you guys?
I know what that's about.
Is that coming? Are they going to divulge that in the next season or something? Or
no, they divulged it that same episode.
Oh, I missed that. I must have missed that.
So the whole purpose of this was the Jedi Master found a set of forgotten hyperlanes. Because hyperspace, while you can really go wherever you want, there's charted paths, so you don't end up in the middle of a sun, or pull a hyper ram and blow something up. So there's designated routes that some people know, some people don't know. So it's kind of like the highways of the galaxy.
Yeah.
And he found a forgotten highway that like nobody really knows about anymore. So by giving that to the Republic, that would have gave him a huge advantage in the Outer Rim, because now it's like the Separatists are like, well, where are these clones coming from? We can't cut off their supplies if we don't know where the hyperspace route is. And so because if I recall, the hyperspace route, basically it kind of went from the core, so like closer to Coruscant, all the way to the Outer Rim. So basically it was a gateway to either side of the war. So
that's
the
what he
Separatists
whispered to Ahsoka?
Yeah, because to prevent the Separatists from getting it, he memorized half of the coordinates and gave his commanding officer, who, guess what? It's Tarkin.
Yeah, I like that little tip of the hat. That was cool.
Yeah. And
Young
he gives
Tarkin.
he gives Tarkin the other half of the coordinates. So that way, in case one of them broke, odds are they wouldn't have the whole thing.
I did enjoy that they brought Tarkin into it, and it was interesting seeing Anakin, sort of the beginnings of him having this more cutthroat approach, opposed to the Jedi who don't necessarily pull the trigger when killing or wiping out somebody is an option. They always go for the more peaceful approach, it sounds like. Where Tarkin and Anakin are kind of in step with one another on that, and kind of their strategies are sort of lining up. So I thought that was cool, and it really does kind of show, like, kind of eventually where Anakin ending up as Darth Vader, with Tarkin as his boy,
Yeah.
Become BFFs essentially.
Yeah. So while they try to escape this prison, which is aptly named the Citadel, because it was built long before the Clone Wars. It was specifically built for Jedi and like Sith. So it was basically if you got Force users, you need to lock them up, send them here. So it was a very, very impossible mission, in short, because like they had sulfur lakes, so like not quite lava, but still they'll burn you to death very easily. And it was a very broken up terrain, and it's a tough place. It's basically the Fort Knox.
Yeah.
And so unfortunately, like you mentioned earlier, the Jedi Master doesn't make it. And this is where we see Echo unfortunately perish, because
I didn't even pick up on that.
Yeah, Echo perishes here because they try to get into the shuttle to escape, but Echo runs ahead, and a droid gunner just blows up the gunship. And so we just see this charred, broken remains of Echo's helmet lying on the ground, with Fives just screaming, "No, Echo!"
Oh, okay. I think my son was talking. I saw the broken helmet, and I'm like, I thought they were just being artistic. Like, oh, that's another dead clone. That's actually Echo.
It was Echo.
Damn.
BFL, have you seen season 7?
Yes.
Okay, we're
no spoilers. All right. That's it.
So, yeah,
That's basically it. There's a dumb arc with Anakin or with Ahsoka and some Trandoshans, and who gives a shit? You know, that's where the
Chewbacca comes
she meets
in
Chewie.
at the end.
Yeah, Chewie comes.
It's such a stupid end to the season. I don't understand the pacing of the season.
Yeah, they don't.
Why do we
well.
end there? No.
Season 4 gets a lot better.
Season 2 ended, or season 2 started really strong with the bounty hunters.
Mhm.
I don't remember exactly how it ended. Well, I think with the Mandalorian arc, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, this season was just all over the place. It's like it started with the bang with the clones. Then you had the clash on Camino. Then you had a bunch of political bullshit that I don't know. It just wasn't like compelling to me. It wasn't interesting. Like it wasn't action. Nobody was wielding a lightsaber or shooting anybody, which is what I come to the Clone Wars for.
I think my favorite thing was when you were watching this, you were like, do I have permission to skip every Padme episode? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was so instrumental, man. I got through this season way easier once I was able to do that. Because I'd watch it on fast forward just to because I didn't want to miss anything. I'm like, okay, Anakin Kenobi's not in this. It just, Padme's talking to a different chancellor or whatever, or senator.
Some random senator.
I mean,
okay,
yeah.
fast forward. Okay. R2 Jar Jar, gross. Okay, keep going.
Skip.
4 episodes later, I'm in the Night Sisters arc,
We're good to go. FMK, buddy.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not the greatest episodes, but I can understand why they did it, because David Filoni knew this show's designed to appeal to kids.
Mm-hmm.
So while they're not that action-packed and they're not really that constructive to the plot, what he was trying to do with those episodes was just kind of teach us lessons without us really realizing it. So
yeah,
yep.
Yeah, you got to have some of that stuff sprinkled in there. Good lessons. And I mean, there is some really good, lessons and moral. There are a lot of really good moral lessons in these shows and in these episodes overall, which is cool.
I mean, especially in the opening quotes.
Oh yeah, those are always incredible. Like that might be the best thing that they do throughout these.
I just remember rewatching them with my dad. He's and he's just like, "Hey, can we skip the intro?" I'm like, "Heck no!"
Right. When I first started watching this show, there was always the option to skip the intro, but that is really stupid because that sets the entire tone of the whole episode. Because they just these episodes just start. They don't, without that context, you don't know what's happening. You're like, what, where are we? Why are they here? I don't even know why that's an option on Disney Plus to skip the intro. The
intro on this series is so important. You have to watch it.
It's not the same every time, that's what the skipping an intro thing is for. Yeah. Do you not want to watch the 30 seconds that is exactly the same every time you watch this show? Okay, yeah, maybe I want to skip that.
You're
but
good.
The unique excerpt that sets up the entire premise of the episode, do you want to skip this? Who the fuck wants to skip that?
Are you fucking stupid? Click this button, stupid.
Right. And I am stupid. I clicked it many times and I'm like, wait a minute, I don't know what the fuck is going on in this episode.
They just shot back 30 years. I have no idea what's going on now.
Exactly. And then I'm like, no, I'm riding this shit out, man. I'm watching every quote. I'm getting through this.
I mean, especially because the theme itself is just so classic.
Mm-hmm.
It's so memorable. It's so Star Wars. The narrator's
great. Yeah, the narrator's
awesome.
Yeah,
narrator does an amazing job.
Flash on Camino. I know that's a bad impression, but whatever. Oh, one just random thing. They introduced this general OC Sopek. Ossie Sopek. I don't know how they said it. Separatist general in the episode of Counterattack. It's the same voice actor that does Kenobi.
Okay.
In this, I don't know, just a random. I recognize the voice. I'm like, that's that guy doing a different voice. That's not very.
That's the Kenobi guy.
Yeah. But that's all we had. That is a long episode. That's all I had for you guys. You have anything else you guys want to talk about?
Yeah.
You could do events, I guess, right?
Oh, right.
Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes
Ooh,
events.
That's right. We're gonna break the 3-hour mark. Look at us.
Woo!
All right. So on Wednesday, the gas event is starting. No.
I was about to say, don't play with me, Darkit.
What day is Wednesday? The 20th?
Uncle
Okay, the 20th, we have Smuggler's Run. The 21st, we have Places of Power. 22nd, we have Training Droid Smuggling.
Oh, thank God.
We also have Admiral's Maneuver. I used to be really poor on training droids. But, even on the alt, I'm like, I don't need those. I'm good.
No, dude. Here's what okay, I'm sorry to go on a tangent here, but why is there the technology for CG to allow you to simulate the training droid event or the challenge or whatever 2 times worth, but all the other challenges you have to wait the 5 seconds or whatever.
Yeah, true.
That's so stupid.
I don't care about your 5 seconds.
It's lazy. It's so lazy. It's like you could do it. You could do it easily. But you're gonna waste my time.
I remember back when it used to be the 10 minutes or 5 minutes or whatever it was.
Oh God, that was horrible.
It was so horrible. I remember missing out on
so
many mats, whether they were Zeta or the regular ones.
There is no rhyme or reason for that. For especially
I set
for
reminders
early
for a
players,
while.
Dude. Yeah,
So
me too.
I
was
Me
like,
too.
Remind me in 10 minutes to do my challenges. Come on.
Especially for somebody who's trying to get to level 85. Why are you going to make it harder for them to accumulate these mats that they don't even really know how to use? Like you're like, oh no, you got to come back in 10 minutes. You got to play this game all day, asshole. You got to keep checking in. Like it just seems so unnecessary. Like
yeah.
Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah.
We have New Territory War on the 23rd. Galactic Bounties 1 on the 24th, and then the Hux Finalizer 1 on the 25th.
Damn, again, eh?
So New Territory War, I have to get myself ready. We gotta change the defense up a little bit, I think.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that, but I'm not going to talk about it because it's already 3 hours. So maybe next episode we'll talk about Territory War.
If you guys enjoyed what you heard, hit us up on social media. We have Instagram, we have Twitter, we have Facebook, we have MySpace.
Yeah.
We have Discord.
Thank you, Rogue613 and Spiced In for popping into the chat and streaming, and anybody else.
And if you become a Patreon subscriber or patron, you can get yourself a nice, beautiful Galaxy of Bureaus. Hold on. Koozie that I'm going to make work soon. I've done a couple iterations and they haven't turned out great, but we're gonna figure it out. So I
have faith in Darkit. Darkit has great merch skills. These are just prototypes.
I do.
He will.
I bought 10 koozies and I figure I'm going to burn through 7 or 8 of them before I figure out how to do it correctly. So
yeah, thanks for tuning in, y'all. Appreciate you. And thank you, BFL, for
drinking Hyperdrive.
Oh, anytime.
We'll be back in 2 weeks?
2 weeks.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.